Have you ever wondered exactly what you should be looking for in a husband or a boyfriend? Have you spent so much time not knowing what it is that you should be searching for, confused, which is exactly why you haven't found the right man for you? It's okay. On today's show, we're going to be discussing 6 ways to know a man is your husband or boyfriend, so that you can finally start focusing on the few important character traits that you must know and understand in order to finally find the right man for you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome everyone into the show. So good to see you here. So good to have you here on this Monday afternoon. Monday afternoon for me, maybe Monday night for you, maybe Tuesday morning for you, depending on where you live in the world. How are you all doing? It's so good to be with you once again. We got Miss J in the TikTok chat. I see Eva in the TikTok chat. Adorable. I saw Scotty earlier. I saw Brianna as well earlier. Tamar is here. Maria is here. Brooklyn is here. Good to see all you people here. Is SH here and is Sharice here? I hope they're here. It would be good to see them as well in the TikTok chat. Welcome all of you. I see we got Ivy over in the YouTube chat. We got BB over in the YouTube chat. Cashley is here. Of course, Katie G is here. We got Ask is here as well. Irina is here. And I believe Tracy Niles was like very first up in the YouTube chat today as well. She's like always number 1 in the YouTube chat. Okay. And of course, we got Missy America, our amazing moderator, holding down our YouTube chat over there as well. Okay, guys, let's get started. We got lots to discuss today. And this is a topic by popular demand, I guess you could call it, because I know a lot of you have been asking me, Tomisin, you do such a great job. Maybe I don't. You do such a great job of letting us know what we shouldn't be looking for. What are some of the things we should be looking for? Tomisin, I need help knowing what I should be looking for in a man. I don't know what to look for, but I do know what not to look for, at least a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to discuss on the opposite end of the spectrum, key important factors to look for in a man. So when you notice these things, these should be sending you positive signals. Now, I want to preface what I say by letting you in on the fact that just because you notice 1 or 2 of these things in a man, that doesn't make everything hunky-dory and everything perfect all of a sudden, okay? I want you to be able to use your thinking brain and understand that these traits, while they're great, that doesn't mean that you turn your brain off and automatically assume your relationship is the best thing ever and you no longer analyze any more information outside of that, okay? I want to make you very aware of that so that you know how important it is to do it this way, okay? And to still be analyzing information. I don't have my water bottle, so I'm gonna do this waterless, dry mouth, all right? Okay, so let's get started with number 1, okay? Now, all of these, I'm gonna give you kind of like an analogy to help break down the concept, okay? So number 1, we call this here for the meal, okay? Now, I want you to imagine if you were to feed a child a meal that doesn't like their vegetables, okay? Now, vegetables are nutritious for us as human beings. It's amazing. They're awesome. However, they don't taste so amazing and so awesome. At least they don't taste as good as, you know, a piece of bacon or a really juicy piece of fried chicken or a soda, okay, right? Vegetables kind of have a mid-taste depending on how you make them. Most of the time, they don't taste as good as other things that aren't as good for us. Now, if you were feeding a child and getting that child, let's say, for example, to eat their vegetables, one of the things you would probably do if you were trying to get that child to eat their vegetables is you would tell them and let them know that an incentive to eating their vegetables is the amazing piece of chocolate cake that they are going to be able to get if they eat their vegetables first, right? Because kids are going to be like, oh my God, I look at this chocolate cake. I want this chocolate cake. It's going to give me a sugar high and that's going to taste so good in my mouth and in my belly that I want a piece of that chocolate cake. And so when you use that as an incentive and you say, okay, if you want the chocolate cake or you want the ice cream, you got to eat your peas for, I hate peas, okay? You got to eat your peas first, or you got to eat your green beans, or you got to eat your cabbage or your celery. So such weird vegetables. I hate green beans so badly. Okay, don't get me started. But that would be an incentive, right? And so the child will end up eating, hopefully, will end up eating those vegetables with the incentive that afterwards I'm going to get that really amazing piece of chocolate cake at my disposal, and it's going to feel so good to eat it. So I'll eat these vegetables even though I don't like vegetables, even though I'm not into vegetables, even though these are yucky and nasty. I want that piece of chocolate cake, so I'm going to eat these vegetables. Cool, fine. Now, what's going to happen is eventually down the line, you're going to come to a conundrum, because let's say one day, for example, you didn't have access to any more chocolate cake. Maybe you ran out, you forgot to go to Costco, you forgot to go to Walmart, and there's no more chocolate cake. So now your child only has vegetables, but you've trained that child to only want and only eat vegetables whenever there's chocolate cake as an incentive to eat those vegetables. So now when you ask that child to eat vegetables, the child's like, no, I don't want to eat my vegetables because there's nothing for me at the end of eating these nasty, nasty vegetables. Okay. I'm not here to eat this big meal. I really am only eating this so that I can eventually get this chocolate cake or this cookie or this piece of candy. And if I'm not having the incentive of getting that piece of candy or that chocolate cake, then I don't want to eat this meal whatsoever. So then some of you are probably thinking in your mind, Tomisin, what does any of that have to do with me finding a husband? What I want you to be doing is I want you to be looking for the type of men who are here for the meal and not here for the dessert with you, okay? And the meal is everything that comes with you, the emotions, the connection, getting to know you, getting to better understand you, building with you in this relationship. The dessert, as you probably can guess if you're a smarty pants, is in between your legs. Now, obviously, everyone likes dessert, okay? Men love pineapples. Men want to jackrabbit themselves inside of you for 90 seconds or less. That's not a shocker, okay? But what I want you to understand is even though it's not a shocker that they want to jackrabbit themselves inside of you, and they would love to do that, that's not going to deter them from building a relationship with you if there is no immediate incentive to eat dessert right after he finishes his meal. You want a man who's going to be here for the meal, because the meal is how he sustains himself in the relationship. The meal is how you both sustain yourself in the relationship, how you continue to grow and continue to build. The people, right, much like the child who's only eating the meal, right, only eating the vegetables to get to dessert, by the time there is no dessert on the table as an incentive as an incentive for him for eating the entire meal, they will not be interested in eating the entire meal, no matter how nutritious it is for them, no matter how much better their life would be if they ate the meal, right, in its entirety. They're not going to care because all they're here for is the sweet treat at the end. So it's the same thing with the men. When you're surrounding yourself, I was going to say surrounding yourself, but when you are with men who are only looking for dessert, it's a very not good thing. Vice versa, when you find yourself in a relationship with a man, regardless of the fact that, yes, of course he's going to be attracted to you, so of course he's going to want to sleep with you, and of course he would love to be intimate with you. But when you can be with a man and start building a relationship with a man who isn't hyper focused on that as this incentive to continue growing a relationship with you, then you know you found someone who you can be long term with, someone who can be a boyfriend to you, someone who can be a husband to you. Because yes, sleeping with him is great. That's awesome. That's the smiley face. We all love that. Okay. Everyone loves to get jackrabbited. All right, cool. However, aside from just getting jackrabbit, there's supposed to be so much more as it relates to your relationship. So you do need and should be seeking for a man who is here for the relationship in its entirety. And you'll start to notice the type of men, and this is where we kind of have to go into the things that you shouldn't be looking for, but you'll start to notice the type of men that will approach you and they're solely focused on the dessert. They'll talk about it all the time, right? And they'll talk about it in a way where it's like, damn, how soon are we going to do it? We're going to do it tomorrow? We're going to do it the next day? We're going to do it the day after that? Are we going to do it on the first date, on the second day, on the third day, right? And you'll start to notice the men who are hyper fixated on the dessert because all they want is the dessert. And the only reason they're going to take you out on this date, the only reason they're going to spend any sort of time with you on this in general is to get to that eventual dessert. And you'll start to notice much the same way if you were to ever take cake off the table as an incentive after the child is like halfway through eating their vegetables and you say, actually, never mind, there's no more cake option. I want you to eat this entire meal, but you're not going to get cake at the end. The same way a child would be frustrated and probably throw that plate off of the table because they're so mad because they only ate this to get to the dessert is the same way a man who is only here for dessert with you and not here for the meal with you is going to immediately, once they become frustrated enough or once they feel like dessert is not on the table or it's not immediately on the table as an option, right? They're going to flip the table and flip their plate because they're so upset that I'm not here to have no meal with you, okay? I'm here for dessert and dessert only. If I have to eat a meal and stomach this meal in order to get to my dessert, then I'll do that. But if you're making me feel like dessert is not going to be on the horizon as soon as I finish eating my vegetables, then I don't want it. I don't want it. Okay? And so I say that to say you need to be looking for men in your life that are here for the entire meal, that you are as a human being. Not that I'm trying to relate you to feel food, but I want you to understand the analogy in that the entire meal is not what just comes with you when he gets to jackrabbit himself inside of you for 90 seconds. It's also who you are as a human being. It's also growing with you. It's also building a connection with you by understanding you, asking you questions, getting to know you better, meeting your family, meeting your friends, going through situations with you. Like everything that's supposed to come with you is the entire meal. And all of that stuff is so important because that is you, the human being. That is the person he's going to be connecting with, and that is the person he's going to be growing with. So all of those things make you nutritious as part of your entire meal. Now, the dessert is awesome, but you can't live off of the dessert, okay? He can't live off of the dessert either. Now, the guys who are really focused on the dessert, they don't care if they can't live off dessert because they're not looking to make this a sustainable, I guess we could call it diet, all right? They're not trying to make this a sustainable eating plan where they're consistent with you over time and they grow with you over time. They want this to be quick and easy. So of course, they're going to be looking to get dessert as soon as possible. So you want a man who is here for the meal. And you're going to notice that in the way that he talks to you and the way that he approaches you and the way that he goes about his dates with you. A guy who is really focused on dessert is going to be talking about dessert a lot. This is why it's so amazing to be asking guys questions and allowing them to talk and take the conversation wherever their mind goes. Because if you ask a guy, hey, tell me about your past relationship with your ex, and then he immediately starts rambling on, but I would love to sleep with you. And when me and you get together, I can't wait to start making out on you and grabbing your dump truck and all this good stuff. You didn't ask him about that. And your questions had nothing to do with that. So the fact that every time you ask him a question, he relates it back to sleeping with you, that lets you know where his mind frame is at and how much focus he has on the dessert rather than the full course meal, which is everything that your relationship is supposed to be in its entirety. Are you following me so far? Okay. Someone said the doors of the Nigerian church are open. Come in, girls. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome all of you. All right. So I hope that makes sense so far. Now, so first you're looking for a man who is here for the meal, not just the dessert, right? Number two, you want to be looking for a man, and I know these are all going to sound funny. Don't worry. I'm going to explain them to you, and they will make more sense as I explain them, and we'll get it, okay? So number two, I want you to be looking for a man who is like rice and chicken. Okay? It's going to sound very silly and very stupid, all right? But I assure you, it'll make some sense. Just stick with me, pay attention, and you'll understand what I'm trying to say. What you want in a husband or boyfriend is a man who's like rice and chicken. Why? Similar to if I were to ask you here, let's just say I said, hey, girlie, I'm looking for a really good way to lose weight. I want to go to the gym. I want to get stronger. I want to get bigger. I want to be like a monster in the gym. I want to get leaner. I want to have my muscles busting out the seams. I want to be ripping my shirts, ripping my sweaters. I want to be like gorilla in this thing, man. Right? And I told you I was trying to, get more fit, get more in shape. And I was like, please recommend to me a meal plan that I can take that's simple. It's easy. I don't have to spend a whole bunch of time cooking a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of time organizing recipes. Give me something real simple to help me lose weight and stay fit. You'd probably be like, I guess you could eat rice and chicken. Yeah, rice and chicken, simple. You got carbs there. You got protein there. Keep it simple. Try not to add too much oil to your chicken when you cook it, and eat chicken breast so that it's nice and lean for you, right? Pretty simple there. If you can season food and you're not an idiot, season the food so that it tastes nice and good, right? And so I say that to say rice and chicken is boring, right? And I might be like, damn, that's kind of boring. I was expecting something different. But at the end of the day, eating the right amount of portion, not a crazy portion, but eating the right amount of portion of rice and chicken will sustain you for a lifetime, and you can actually live off that. You can have nice big muscles, you can have some energy from the carbs, and you'll be able to go for your workouts, you'll be able to go to work, you'll be able to do things, you'll be able to think straight, you won't have so much deficiencies and all that good stuff, right? So rice and chicken, while it might be boring, it is something that is sustainable and something that you can utilize as a source of energy to live off for a long time. Okay. If I was asking for you a meal plan because I want to work out and get fit, you're not going to recommend to me that I should go eat a whole bunch of brownies or eat a whole bunch of cookies or go to Crumble Cookie and order a Crumble Cookie for the next 30 weeks. Although Crumble Cookie is amazing and I love Crumble Cookie. Okay. I am a fan of Crumble Cookie. However, that's not going to sustain you for the long term. So similar to how I said you should be looking for a guy who is here for the meal in terms of with you and his relationship with you, what you also should be looking for in a man is a man who is like rice and chicken. He's not necessarily going to take you over the moon one day and down in the dumps one day. He's more going to be consistent, but that consistency, what we might consider to be boring, is going to allow you to actually build something out of this relationship, right? Because the same way with rice and chicken, eating the same rice and chicken every day might be boring, and it's not going to be like, oh my God, I'm eating the best meal I've ever tasted in my entire life every day. At the end of the day, the result you want by being fit, being in better shape, right? Being able to live a sustainable lifestyle where you feel good and you have energy, eating rice and chicken is going to get you that result. The same way in your relationships where you want something long lasting, where you want something sustainable, where you want to be able to go through ups and downs in your relationship with your man, where you want to be able to rely on your man, where you want to be able to count on the fact that he can be responsible, he can be consistent with you in the relationship and not just treat you amazing one day when it benefits him, but treat you amazing every day. It's not just Valentine's Day where you get presents and get nice things and get nice treatment, or your birthday. It's every single day where you get princess treatment and great treatment and gifts and all that good stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you want that out of a relationship, you need to be looking for rice and chicken type of men. Men that can be consistent with you. They might, and this is what I want to warn you of, okay? I want us to be very honest with each other so that we can understand each other. I want to let you know, rice and chicken men aren't going to take you over the moon every single day, and they're also not going to bring you down in the dumps every single day. So it's not going to feel like a crazy dopamine hit to be with the rice and chicken type of man. You'll feel good, right? I'm not saying that you won't feel good, and the relationship will, be good and beneficial to you. You will get princess treatment. However, you're not going to feel the super high heights and the super down lows. Okay. You're going to feel more sustainable or more steady, and it's not going to be that fluctuation, is that even a word, right? That influx of, energy and that influx of emotion on a daily, and for some of you who are in crazy situations, an hourly basis, okay? And that is a good thing, okay? A very, very, very good thing. I know some of you, because I know we have a large age range, right? Fluctuation, that was the word. I said influctuation. There is a large age range of people here. So some of you on the younger side might be still in your mind frame where you think the best version of a partner for you is someone that gives you the most excitement, right? So because the person that gives you the most excitement, you're going to feel like, oh, well, this is just like a teen drama. He acts just like Nate does in Euphoria, and I must be Maddie. So because he's Nate and I'm Maddie, and this is Euphoria, but in real life, in my life, and I'm the main character, my relationship should look just like Maddie and Nate's relationship in Euphoria. It should be amazing one day, and then the other day we should be screaming and yelling at each other, and he should have a knife to my throat. That's really what the fantasy is supposed to be. You go from having a Disney princess story to being a young adult and thinking, well, Euphoria is my Disney princess story. I'm supposed to be with the Nate, and I'm supposed to be a bad bee like Maddie. Maddie's a bad bee. I'm a bad bee too. My relationship should look just like Nate's and Maddie's. One day he should have a knife to my throat. The other day we should be jackrabbiting each other's brains out because we love each other so much. And that's what, a magic relationship should be. But I'm here to tell you, when you know a man is actually going to be a good husband or boyfriend to you, what you should be looking for rather than a Nate, right? That's going to take you over the moon one day and down in the dumps the next day like Euphoria. You should be looking for a man who's like rice and chicken. While it might not be the most exciting, amazing thing ever, what you will get and what the most important thing to receive from a man is consistency. And you'll be able to build your relationship off of that consistency because you'll know what to expect from that man. You'll know that you can rely on that man. You'll know that that man can be responsible. Because remember, even whether or not, because some of you might be like, well, Tomisin, this is that you talk about husband. I'm not looking for a husband. I'm more in the position to look for a boyfriend because I'm on the younger side. At the end of the day, you're making someone your boyfriend so that you can eventually grow this relationship to where he becomes your fiance and then eventually becomes your husband. So it all works down the same way because you're steering in the same direction. You shouldn't be making a man your boyfriend that you don't see yourself eventually making your husband. If you are, then you're doing all of this backwards, okay? But I say that to say, whether you're thinking about a boyfriend or whether you're thinking about a husband, the character traits are all the same that you should be looking for because eventually you're trying to transition it into the same place. You should be, okay? Are you following me? So you need someone that can be consistent because as a husband, which eventually a boyfriend is eventually going to be a husband, you need someone that can take care of you and also, assuming that you want to have children, maybe some of you don't, can also take care of your children as well, be responsible with your children as well. Imagine if you're with a man who is inconsistent when it comes to just your relationship with him, you and him. Just hanging out and having fun. He can't even be consistent or responsible as it relates to that. So imagine what's going to happen 30 years down the line when you're going to get married to this man, have children with this man. And now it's not just your schedule and his schedule. It's your schedule and your 3 other kids' schedule. You got one kid who's in, high school. He's got a schedule and he's got sports and he's got this and he's got that. Then you got another one in elementary who's in, 5th grade and she's got this and she's got that and she's got a recital and she's got piano. Then you've got another one who's in JK and he's got this and he's got that and he's got that, right? And all this other stuff piled on that someone who's supposed to be the man of the house, someone who's supposed to help to take care of you and your children is supposed to be responsible and consistent enough that you know you can rely on that guy to take care of you and the family. So yes, rice and chicken is boring the same way a man who's super consistent and doesn't treat you like Nate, one day it's amazing and one day it's horrible, right? While that might be a little bit more boring and mundane, it will get you to the place that you actually want to be in your relationships, okay? As opposed to being in a relationship that is amazing one day and horrible the next day, okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I'm going to go run and grab my water bottle because I wanted to get a drink of water. But please ask your questions, then I'll come back and answer any questions that you guys have so far of what we discussed, okay? I'm going to run and grab it. I run. Alrighty. Now, I didn't have my water bottle, so I just grabbed a pitcher. So this is literally a pitcher of water. It's okay, guys. Anyone new that comes in here is going to be so confused when they see me sip out of a pitcher. I'm a large man. It's okay. Who cares? All right. So, anyways, as we were discussing, right? So you want a man who is here for the meal. And then number 2, you want a guy who is like rice and chicken. I be thirsty, okay, guys? Don't make fun of me. I get thirsty. Because I get thirsty, I drink from a pitcher. I'll even put it in the frame. I'm not playing around today, all right? I get thirsty. I didn't have my water bottle was missing. I think I left it somewhere. I didn't bother to look for it. I just put it in the pitcher, okay? So, right? Rice and chicken in terms of a man being consistent with you. You want consistency. You need that. One of the most important things you should be looking for is consistency. All right. Now, so we had number 1, which was being here for the meal. Number 2, which was having a man who is like rice and chicken to you. Now, number 3, stop pooping time. Okay. Ivy and Ashley, or Cashley's favorite time of the chat. If you're on the toilet and you're pooping, you clip it off and no more pooping until this point is over, because it's very important, okay? Actually, both of these next 2 points are very important, and I want to discuss them in detail, okay? So get your hand out of your pants. Now, number 3, you need to be with a man who, ironically, like I just mentioned, you need to be with a man who is hydrated. Now, some of you think that this is a joke, and honestly, the timing was just perfect. But I'm seriously mean it. You need to be with a man who is hydrated. And I'm not actually talking about hydrated like H2O hydrated. What I specifically mean is you need a man who is not thirsty. And specifically, even more specific, not thirsty for attention. This is very dangerous for you. Let's imagine a scenario and then we'll discuss. Okay. See, if you're with a man who is not properly hydrated, and if you're with a man who is thirsty for attention, this is what your relationship will be like. Let's say that you and this guy are having, let's say you're dating a guy, and for whatever reason, you guys have been in constant arguments and just situations, and things haven't been going well. And, you know, there's a little bit of distance between you guys because you're actively trying to figure out what the best way, to go about your relationship is. Here's the thing. A guy who is not properly hydrated is going to be saying to himself, well, if I'm not receiving attention or love from you, if you're not going to praise me and tell me how amazing I am, well, I'm going to go out and find someone, whether it be going to the club, I'm going to go to the bar, I'm going to go to wherever it is that I need to go find someone that will tell me how amazing I am and how awesome I am. I know we always talk about validation on the show, but I never want you to think that it's only you that ever seeks or cares about validation. I want you to understand validation is a concept that we all suffer from and can easily be manipulated by. So here's the thing. If you find yourself in a relationship with a man who is not properly hydrated and is thirsty for validation, thirsty even more for attention, what's going to happen is he's going to start acting out in order to receive that attention, whether it be from you or from other people. And see, you can't work with that when it comes to a boyfriend or a husband, because then you're always going to be trying to correct him, or he's always going to be making mistakes in the relationship because he's looking for that attention, right? Nat just said it right now, thirsty for attention from others, right? And the guys that are thirsty for attention from others, they're going to say things that are out of pocket. They're going to do things that are out of pocket. And they might, even if it's detrimental to your relationship, they're not doing it to benefit your relationship. They're doing it because they want attention. So a guy who's thirsty for attention might go out and go meet someone at the club or the bar and start chatting them up and looking for whichever girl is going to validate him the most, whichever girl is going to tell him he's the most amazing, and that he can tell this story of how him and you haven't been working out and how you're not properly doing this and you're not properly doing that, so that that girl can say, oh, well, you know, if I was in a relationship with you, I would never do that. If I was in a relationship with you, I would never fight. I would just get on my knees all day long and I would slurp you up every time that you're angry, or anytime we're in a fight, I would just slurp you up until literally from morning all the way till nighttime. As soon as you wake up, I'd start slurping you up. And that's how I would treat you if I was your girlfriend. And he'll say, yeah, that's how someone should be treating me. Yeah, that's how I deserve to be treated, right? And see, the thing is, when you're with someone who is thirsty for attention or thirsty for validation, the backflips they will do for that validation is insane, right? The same way, whenever you and that guy get into a fight, a guy who is thirsty for attention or validation, what do you think is one of the first things he's going to do if he can't go to the club or the bar? He's going to start DMing a whole bunch of different girls, DMing all these IG models, DMing all these other girls, replying to any stories of any girls who are posting their dump truck on their Instagram, whatever he needs to do when he's upset because he's thirsty for that attention, okay? So you want a man who is properly hydrated, not thirsty for attention. And I say that as I have a whole water jug with me, right? You want a man who is capable of, because you have to understand, you're always going to go through situations with a man, right? You're always going to have times where you guys disagree, you don't see eye to eye, things aren't working how you both want them or would like them to be working out. However, that doesn't mean that you that doesn't mean that you now change the way you approach the relationship because things aren't going as you want them or would like them to go, right? And that also stems from his perspective as well. If you're with someone who is very attention starved and always looking for attention from people, they're going to be doing things that are detrimental even to your relationship that is not going to work out for you, okay? And we don't want that for you. We want you to be with a man who's hydrated, that's capable of going through things with you and not adjusting or changing his behavior. So one of the things that, because we want to talk today about things you should be looking for, you want to be looking for, okay, great. You treat me like a princess when you're happy and when you're good and everything's awesome. I also want to see, how do you treat me when our relationship isn't going as well? Okay, nothing wrong with being upset, nothing wrong with being angry, but how do you go about our relationship and how is your treatment of me when things aren't, we're in a fight or we're in a disagreement, or I might said something that upset you or did something that upset you. All of a sudden, do you now outsource our relationship and say F this and you start going and looking for someone else? Or are you capable of staying put, dealing with your anger, dealing with your emotions, and staying consistent in this relationship? We next level said consistency. Again, it is an example of consistency, right? In terms of not just how are you consistent overall, but how consistent are you in terms of your feelings and approach to me and approach to our relationship when it's not going as amazing as you wanted it to go. Because the reality of it is, I want you to understand, when we're talking about a husband or a boyfriend that you're supposed to be long-term with for long periods of time, years and years and years and decades, you are going to go through things with that person. So you need to properly understand and gauge his reaction to things in your relationship when things aren't going as well as they're supposed to be going, okay? Those times are going to come and they're going to be plentiful, right? That's just the way it works when you're with someone for years and years and years. So you need to be gauging very early on if you're, first starting to date someone, or if this is like the first couple of months, whatever it may be. I want you to be very cognizant and aware of how do you treat me and go about our relationship when you're not getting the same thing that you're accustomed to from me. Okay, if I'm not sleeping with you because we're in a fight or we're in an argument, do you all of a sudden go out and start cheating? If we are not doing the regular amount of intimacy that we regularly do because we're going through something or working through something, do all of a sudden you start looking for that intimacy from someone else? Because that's not going to work. If you're that easily attention starved that you can't properly be focused enough to like fix and adjust behavior and work on things, right, while we table the intimacy for a second or table whatever it is that we were doing for a second, then you're not capable of actually sustaining a relationship. If you have that little patience, and if you're that thirsty for attention 24/7, then you're going to be doing some really crazy and desperate things for that attention. You do not ever want to be with a man who is super desperate for attention. When things subside or when things aren't going well or when things need to be kind of tabled in order to address what are the priorities at that moment, it's going to be very difficult for you, okay? Imagine to yourself as well, and I know for some of you who are thinking about boyfriends, you're thinking, well, this is so far along, but imagine to yourself as well, how are you supposed to deal with a man who is so starved for attention? What happens when you're pregnant and you can't sleep with him? And he's so starved for attention, he says to himself, oh, well, you can't sleep with me for like 4 or 5 months now that you're pregnant. I guess I'm going to go have to sleep with someone else because I need the attention and I need the love so much that I can't literally table my own emotions and feelings for 1 second while you literally cannot physically, you cannot sleep with me, right? These are the type of things that maybe you weren't thinking about when you're thinking about a partner, because it's not the fun, sexy, and exciting thing to think about when you're thinking towards someone and building a relationship with them, right? It doesn't necessarily make you feel good in the moment, but long term, down the line, these are things that will become really important, and you'll find yourself in a very peculiar situation if you are not properly feeling these things out as time goes on. You understand what I'm saying? Right? So Cloud says, like, if a man keeps on looking at other women, is he attention starved? I would say if you notice that, this would be a great example as well. If you notice that when things are going good with your man, he doesn't seem to be paying attention to any other girls, right? And then all of a sudden, as soon as you guys get into a fight, now all of a sudden he has wandering eyes. Now all of a sudden he's talking to other girls. Now all of a sudden, he's paying a whole bunch more emotional attention to a lot of other girls, more than he would regularly do when you guys are just, doing your thing and there's nothing wrong in your relationship. That is a sign that you should be going off in your mind. This person is attention starved, because as soon as I stop giving them the same amount of attention, or it changes a little bit, now all of a sudden they outsource that attention and validation to someone else. They constantly need that all the time. And if they can't get that, they can't fulfill themselves or sustain themselves, so they go and look for that with other women. Because the position it's going to put you in is you're always going to feel anxious that I need to be giving him the maximum amount of attention, and I can never focus any of my time and energy on myself, because if I dare to focus any of my time and energy on myself, he'll literally start going and dating another girl, and I'll literally wake up by the next 2 days and he'll be like, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore, I have a new girlfriend. Okay. You don't want that. Okay. Not that your man should never feel needed, and not that your man should, never feel neglected, but you don't want to be with a man who's so hair trigger sensitive that if you literally turn your head to focus any of your time and attention on yourself, he automatically says, oh, well, I'm going to go date someone else. I'm going to go sleep with someone else. I'm going to go be with someone else. That's way too unrealistic. And it doesn't allow you the space at all to be an individual, which you need to have the space to be an individual. And you can't do that with someone who is constantly attention starved. All right. We don't want that for you. Okay. So number 1 was being here for the meal. And number 2 was rice and chicken. Number 3 was a man who is hydrated. I know these are all funny. Now, number 4. Okay. I know I said number 3 was stop pooping time, but this is the one that I'm going to get mad. Okay. I mean this so seriously, okay? And it's so important that you pay attention to this. If you don't hear anything, pay attention to this part, because I really never want you to forget this part. This is one of the most dangerous, prevalent parts for men. Number 4, you want a man who knows how to water his own grass. I don't want to get mad. One of the biggest issues in relationships is the idea that the grass is always greener on the other side. It literally is like a plague. It's like a virus that will take over your mind or your partner's mind, and will ruin a lot of your relationships and just relationships in general, because it is never true. Never, okay? Never. You will never have better relationships with people just because they're new people. You have better relationships with people because you work on those relationships with those people. Hold on. I want you to follow me and stay with me. I'll give you an example of a man who doesn't water his own grass so that you can better understand what you should be looking for. An example of a man who doesn't water his own grass is someone who dates you. Let's say me and you start dating, right? And we're sitting on this dinner date and I'm like, you know what? I like you so much and I think I want to make you my wife. And you're sitting here like, that sounds amazing, even though I don't know your last name, and even though you don't know mine, and even though this is like our third or fourth date, yeah, so I guess sounds good that you want to make me your wife. I guess that means that you're intentional and all that good stuff. And as we get to know each other, let's say it goes 2 months and then 3 months and then 4 months, that excitement that I brought to the date where I was like, oh my God, you're the best thing since sliced bread. Look at your dump truck. Look at how you look at how you smile. Look at your hair. Look at how beautiful your legs are. Look at how tan you are. Everything's amazing. We're so amazing. Our relationship's amazing, right? All of that amazing, awesome, intense energy that I brought at the very beginning, after 3 or 4 months starts to fizzle out. And now all of a sudden, after meeting you, I'm kind of like, I kind of think our relationship's not really going where I want it to go. And I kind of think, I'd be better off single. And I kind of think, I'll be honest with you, this is just not working for me. And then you're like, wait, what? Explain to me how this is not working for you anymore, because 3 months ago, you were so excited for us to hop into this relationship and you literally sped this up so that we would be in a relationship faster. How is it that all of a sudden you don't want to be with me anymore? What's going on? And then he's like, I don't know how to put my finger on it. It's nothing that you did. I just think we'd be better off, not together. And then 1 week after you guys break up, you find out from a friend that you guys share, that a mutual friend, that he is now in a relationship with a new girl who works at his work. That came in like 2 weeks ago. He met her 2 weeks ago, and now he's dating her instead. So you're sitting there like, what just happened? I was with a guy who really wanted to be with me, who really seemed to love this relationship, and this seemed to be really working out. Now, all of a sudden, he's not as interested in me anymore somehow. And even more now, all of a sudden, he's dating a new girl out of random. I don't get this at all, and this doesn't make any sense to me. But here's the thing. See, the men that have that mindset will always be of the belief that the grass is greener on the other side. They will always be of the belief that the new girl, because she's a shiny new toy, and we've talked about the shiny new toy theory before on the show. It's a very important theory for you to understand. They will always believe that the new girl that they don't know and have never met, because they can project all of the most amazing, awesome, perfect qualities onto that new girl. They will always believe that that new girl is exactly who they're looking for and exactly what they want. And they'll be like a dog with their tongue out and their tail wagging, ready to take on the new girl because she's shiny and new. Not because she's actually what he wants, but simply because she's shiny and new. And this is the thing. If you're with a man who doesn't understand how to water his own grass, he will constantly be looking at someone else's lawn and think to himself, damn, if I was just over there, the grass would be so much greener over there. When in reality, if he would just focus some of his time and attention on the grass that he does have, figure out how to mend it, take care of it, figure out how to water it, figure out how to take the weeds out of it, all the things that are required to have nice, green, amazing, luscious grass, he would be able to have that same grass that he's looking over the yonder and admiring, right? And with the guys that don't know how to water their own grass, they just continuously go where something looks better. They realize it's kind of the same. It's a little bit mundane. Then they move on to something else thinking that that thing's better. Then they move on to something else thinking that that thing's better. And it will be detrimental to you because you'll be investing yourself into someone that can't see the value in taking care of this relationship and maintaining this relationship, because maintaining a relationship is not as exciting as jumping into a new one. Maintaining a relationship is not as exciting as doing the things necessary to problem solve and work with someone and make adjustments as it is as just being able to jump into a new one with a new person and have new problems and new issues. Okay, right? So you need to be identifying if you're dating or seeing a man who is the type of man that knows how to water his own grass. So I know some of you are naturally asking me, well, what are the type of things that would tell me if a man is capable of being able to water his own grass? I'm so glad that you asked me. I'm so glad that you're here wondering. One of the many things that will help you understand if a man's capable of watering his own grass is when he starts to describe to you his own past experiences is in his relationships. See, a man who knows how to water his own grass can take the experiences that he had in his relationships, can understand what he could have done better or adjustments he could have made, and he'll be able to speak on those adjustments as in, I now understand this about myself or this about how I go about relationships from my past experience, whether it be my ex or my ex before that or whatever it may be. And I know that bringing into this relationship, I want to make sure I blank. I want to make sure I do this instead. I want to make sure that I don't see the same end result as I did before. So I want to address this now. I want us to work on this now. I want this to be a focus now. And you'll notice a pattern with men who are capable of watering their own grass. You'll notice that every time they have a situation that doesn't work out, they're able to take key components of that situation as it relates to them. And they're able to say to themselves, okay, this didn't work out for this reason in my last relationship. So now in our new relationship, let's figure out how we can make it so we don't have to face those same problems. And you'll notice an initiative to take those lessons and take those past experiences to make something that actually works out better now. Are you following me? Okay, so this is why it becomes so great and so important for you to be asking a lot of questions when you're dating a guy and when you're on dates with a guy, because you want to be getting out of him, what is his mindset and mind frame towards this? Does he feel like these past experiences are just wasted experiences that mean nothing? Or does he feel like these are lessons that he can take with him to understand how to make adjustments and understand how to water this grass so that this patch of grass doesn't end up like his last patch of grass? Not that you're a patch of grass, but just to help you understand, right, that the focus should never be on, oh, I'm just going to hop to the new person when this one gets hard. No, I'm going to figure out how to make this one maintainable so that it works for both you and me. And someone can't be focused on how to make something maintainable if they're not thinking about why did things in my last relationship or my last situation not work out. See, if you're not figuring out how to take and transfer that information and implant it into this new thing, then they're not actually thinking about how to water the grass with you. They're just thinking about how to make it amazing for a short period of time until this becomes boring and mundane, and then they figure out how to hop onto the new person. You'll notice that the guys who can actually, you can build sustainable relationships with, that can be a husband or a boyfriend, you'll notice that they'll bring a lot of initiative, not just to the relationship and how they treat you, but a lot of initiative to making this work out like the first time. Not bringing to the relationship, let's just go about it however we want to go about it, and then whatever mistakes we make is whatever mistakes we make. They'll try their best to take information from the past as much as they can gather, put it into this situation so that this one cannot just suffer the same consequences as before, okay? Right? We always talk, one of the most famous quotes ever is the definition of insanity, which is to do the same thing over and over again and expect the different result. It's impossible. Okay. And it's the same thing with the man who understands how to water his own grass, understands if I did a different technique in my past relationships and it didn't work out, that patch of grass dried up and is no longer working for me, and I come up along this new patch of grass and I want to water it and take care of it and make sure it's good, I'm going to make sure that I don't do that same thing that I did in my last relationship or with my last patch of grass. I'm not saying you're a patch of grass. I just want to give you the analogy. Does that make sense to you so far? Okay. Someone says, what is DL? What are you talking about? I feel so silly drinking out of this pitcher. I feel like a kid with a glass that's too big, right? El Media said it's my favorite quote from Einstein. It's I love that quote as well. Okay. I hope that makes sense. And that's something that really gets me upset because it honestly is something that everyone suffers from. Everyone thinks that the grass is greener on the other side. So rather than figuring out how they can work on the relationship that they're in, now, obviously, there's some exceptions, okay? Some of you might be dating a narcissist and then there's just no saving that relationship, or being in an abusive relationship. That's a whole different story. But I'm talking about being in a relationship that's just not working out for several reasons, or one in particular. And a lot of people are always thinking about how the next relationship relationship they're going to be in is going to be so different, and they're going to be able to, have the perfect relationship with the next person. And then the next person in that relationship only ends up just being the same thing over again. Okay. If you find yourself having the same type of relationships over and over again, that should be a sign to you you're not watering your grass properly, and you're just taking it to new relationships with the same issues, getting the exact same results. Okay. And I don't want that for you at all. Right. So number one was here for the meal and not for you want a man who is here for the meal, not just for the dessert. Number two was a rice and chicken man. Okay. Number three, you want a man who's hydrated. Number four, you want a man who is watering his own grass. And number five, this is going to sound really weird. These all sound weird. I want you to stay with me though. You want a man who understands the way of water. Okay. Right? Just like this. He understands the way of water. Now, the reason I say that he needs to understand the way of water, if you've ever been in a pool before and you hopped into a pool, let's say you did a cannonball into the pool, you were so excited to jump into the pool. And when you hopped in the pool, you got water in your nose and you're like, oh, that stings, that feels nasty. Or you got water in your ears and you spent all day trying to get the water out of your ears. It's amazing because water, while it can be so refreshing and while it can quench our thirst and while it can literally save our lives and we need it to survive, it can also actually unalive us, as crazy as that sounds. Why? Because water has a really special ability to be able to adapt to so many different environments and affect us in so many different ways. And the reason I say that you want a man who understands the way of water is because part of what makes water so amazing, dangerous also, but so amazing, is because it's able to take so many shapes and forms and adapt in so many different ways and flow and be flexible to exactly whatever it is our needs are. Okay? If you need to get rid of dirt in your eye, you're going to pour water on it and it's going to take care of that. If you need to be hydrated, you're going to pour water on it. You're going to pour water on it. You're going to drink water and it's going to take care of quenching your thirst. If you need to get dirt out of your wound, right, and you need to disinfect your wound, you're going to pour water on it and it's going to help to take care of that, hopefully, right? And all these, if you want to clean yourself because you got nasty, smelly skin, you haven't showered in a while, you're going to hop in the shower, you're going to pour water on your body and you're going to rinse off your body, make yourself nice and clean, right? So all these many different ways and shapes and forms that water will take that can be beneficial to you is what makes the property of water so amazing. So the reason I say you should be looking for a man that understands the way of water is that you should be looking for a man the same way water is able to take many shapes and forms and make adjustments to what you need, is the same way you want to be looking for a man who's able to take many shapes and forms in order to make adjustments to what you need specifically at that moment in time. Because the reality of it is, if you're with a man who is incapable of knowing how to make adjustments, whether it be because he doesn't know how to or just because he doesn't want to, then you're not going to be with the man who you can make a boyfriend or a husband long term. Because the reality of it is, in a long-term relationship, you're gonna run through problems. You're gonna run through issues. You're gonna run through, let me fix this here. Okay. You're going to run through things that must be solved and adjusted. Not everything's going to be perfect, but rather than feeling like you need to find a relationship that's going to represent something that's absolutely perfect, I want you to be anticipating when things go wrong, what is your skill set to be able to adjust or work with the fact that things are going to go wrong. If you don't have that skill set, if you're incapable of being able to deal with things going wrong because you don't understand how to do it or you don't want to do it, then you're not going to be able to be a boyfriend or a husband to me. And I want you to be looking for a man, as silly as it sounds, that understand the way of water, which just means to understand how to adjust to situations and adjust to your needs, right? And understand it's not just about what I want 100% of the time. Not that he should never do anything that's important to him or that he should always sacrifice his entire life for you. But if he doesn't understand how to make adjustments, if he doesn't understand how to compromise with you, if he doesn't understand how to take what he wants, understand what you want, understand what you need and is important to you in that moment, make an adjustment so that you're happy, because they always say happy wife, happy life, then he's never going to be able to build a long-term serious relationship with you? How can he? A relationship is going to be filled of compromise and filled of adjustments. You're two different human beings. He's an individual that has grown up in his family, with his parents, with his siblings, in a specific environment, and he's grown to understand life a particular way. And you've grown up with your own set of individual circumstances with your family and your siblings and your friends and your environment. And so, of course, when you grow up two different, completely different individuals from two different, completely environments, for the most part, you're going to have two different ways of thinking and going about life. Nothing wrong with that. That's not a crime. But when you're working together in a relationship, you're going to butt heads sometimes. Sometimes you're going to disagree. Sometimes he might upset you. Sometimes you might upset him. But very important that you have a man that is capable of making adjustments and adjusting, especially his behavior, because if he cannot adjust his behavior and be able to understand how to make those adjustments, or maybe he doesn't even want to make those adjustments, then you're not going to be able to continue an ongoing relationship. Are you following what I'm saying? I want to say thank you to, let's see here. We have, it's real life. Says great points to look for in men. Thank you so much. And she donates $5 in the YouTube chat. Thank you so much for donating $5. I really appreciate you for that. All right. So does that make sense to you guys so far, right? He's got to be able to make adjustments. That's like the way of water. Water can flow. Water can take many different shapes. Water can take many different ways of looking to best suit you for what you need at that point. Someone says, what kind of adjustments would be made? That's a great question. Let's say you're dating a guy, right? And in the process of dating this guy, let's say in his past relationships, he's been accustomed to being able to be with the girl that he can, when he's dating her and they're in a fight, he gets to disappear for a week and then just come back like nothing happened. Let's say for whatever reason in his past relationship that worked for him and his girl didn't mind that. That might not work for you whatsoever. So then you have to be looking at it as, okay, I'm going to let you know right now, it doesn't work for me, for us to be in a fight or an argument and then you disappear for a week. So then he says to himself, okay, well, I do also need space, which is why I disappear for a period of time when I'm in a fight, because I need to collect my feelings and think my thoughts, right? Now, it's valid. It's fair that he needs to collect himself and think his top thoughts before he comes back and, says how he feels. That's fair. But it's also fair to you that a week is a crazy amount of time and there needs to be some sort of compromise or adjustment made so that he can still get his time to think and feel what he needs to feel. But there's also a reasonable amount of time where you can also feel like I still want you to be here and I still want to feel like you care and I still want to feel like we have a relationship, not just because we have a fight. You're gone for a week or gone for a month. You understand what I'm saying? And so an example of making an adjustment is saying, okay, I want A, which is to be able to disappear or take some space whenever I get upset. You want B, which is to be able to still have me there even when we're going through a fight or whether we're going through a disagreement. Why don't we figure out a time frame that works for both of us? Like, okay, if I'm really upset about something, I will take at maximum 24 hours, right, to take my space and be able to just collect my thoughts. And in the event in which I need more time than that, I will let you know and make you aware that I still care about you and I still want to solve this, but I need a little bit more time to gather my feelings, okay? And if that doesn't work after more than 24 hours, then maybe we'll come together and we'll have a conversation or whatever it may be, right? That's an example of being able to say, okay, I want something, you want something, but it's not just about what I want or just about what works for me. It's also about understanding how to make an adjustment for what works best for you. And mature men who you can actually build with will be able to understand how to make adjustments for you specifically, because it's not just about making an adjustment for me that works for me, because then that's not really making an adjustment. right? And it's also not about making an adjustment that would have worked for my past partners because of how they were. So for example, if in my past relationship, my other ex-girlfriend was okay with me taking a week to not speak to her anytime we had a fight and she didn't have a problem with that, that has nothing to do with you. And I can't pass off the fact that my ex-girlfriend was okay with me taking a week to not speak to her, that you should now be okay with that same thing. Because part of making an adjustment, the way I just said, water takes shape and form in whatever you need specifically, is the same way he needs to understand if he's going to be your man, your boyfriend, or your husband. He needs to understand how to take shape and make adjustments to fit what you need specifically, not just in general what someone random needs, or not just in general what his ex would have needed. That doesn't make any sense. You're not his ex and you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be you, and he's supposed to understand how to take care of you and make adjustments for you and how they work specifically for you. Okay? Does that make sense? Electric Fuel said, super chat, man, I do that all the time. Are you saying that like is that a flex? Is that a flex? Like you super chat way more? Okay. I appreciate all of you guys that send in super chats and donations. Okay. So, number one was to be a man that you're looking for who is here for the meal. Number 2, you want a rice and chicken man. Okay. Number 3, you want a man who stays hydrated and is not thirsty for attention. Number 4, you want a man who waters his own grass. Number 5, you want a man who understands the way of water and how to make adjustments. And number 6, it sounds weird, it's probably the weirdest one, you want a Rubik's Cube expert, okay? You want a man who understands how to solve a Rubik's Cube. He's an expert at it. Why? Because one of the most important things, and I know this is the last one, but it's actually one of the most important ones. One of the most important things you need in a man is a man who is a problem solver, okay? If your man does not know how to solve problems, you will never, listen to me very carefully, you will never be able to exist in your feminine, because you will be always constantly on edge, feeling like if I don't do it, it won't get done. And even when you ask him to do something for you or for himself or for your children, you will always feel like if I don't hover over you and literally be like a helicopter parent and make sure you're doing all the steps the right way, then I know this won't get done the right way, and I know I'm going to have to come in and do it myself. So subsequently, you end up actually doing everything yourself. Even when you ask him to do it, you know that he won't do it the right way. So you know that you have to hover over him to watch him do it step by step and adjust him every step of the way, because if you don't, it won't get done right, and then you'll have to redo it. But because you're helicoptering over him and hovering over him while he's doing it, effectively, you're still doing it. So I say that to say you end up being very frustrated because you're doing everything, but also you never get to embody or live in your feminine, where you feel like your man can take care of anything because you don't trust him to take care of anything, because you see that he's not capable of problem solving. Because when I talk about problem solving and I say you want a man who's a Rubik's Cube expert, I'm not just talking about problem solving of like, oh, you know, we're in a fight, so how do we problem solve this and how do we find a solution? Yes, I'm talking about that, but I'm also talking about problem solving and knowing how to address situations, knowing how to go about life, knowing how to take care of things, knowing how to take care of you, even in ways that you might not realize, right? Knowing how to do things. I had a girl one time tell me, she was like, one of the things that I hated about my ex-boyfriend, she told me this one time when we were on a date. She was like, one of the things I hated about my ex-boyfriend is that anytime it came to booking a restaurant to go to, I literally had to make sure that I called the restaurant, booked the reservation, that the reservation was at the right time, and it was at the place that we were supposed to be going. Because every time I would rely on him to book the reservation, either he wouldn't book it, he would book it at the wrong time, or when we showed up, something would happen and the reservation would be all messed up and we couldn't eat. And I got so sick of it that I literally could not allow him to book any of our reservations. Anytime we would go out to eat somewhere, I would always have to do it. And she literally said to me, it made me so emotionally dry. So it actually affected her squirtle lubrication, and because it affected her mind lubrication, because she was like, you literally can't be man enough to just handle the situation. Like, you're stupid. You're an idiot. And I can't trust you to be able to like take care of a situation without me hovering over you. And it literally started to turn her off to him emotionally and physically, where she didn't feel like she had a man. She felt like she had a son or a boy. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason I give you that example is that is one of the things you should be looking out for when you're looking out for a man who's going to embody what you consider to be a husband or a boyfriend. A man who knows how to solve problems in your fights, and whether you guys have disagreements, solve problems, yes, but also in general knows how to solve problems, where he knows how to actually get things done. He knows how to be the best version of himself for him. And he also knows how to take care of you and try to be thinking of you and the things that you need as well. You don't need a man where you have to be the one motivating him. You have to be the one solving his problems. You have to be the one saying, yeah, you couldn't do this, but you can do that. Oh, but I don't want to do, yeah, you can't do this, but you can do that, right? And it's just like a man that you have to chase around and try to help him understand how to solve his own problems. I know that that sounds really silly, but I can assure you, if you've ever been in that situation before, you know how painful that can be, okay? And I don't want that for you. You want a Rubik's Cube expert that is so good at solving that Rubik's Cube and is so good at putting all those colors together that not only can he solve his own problems, but he can actually help you with your own problems. Because like I said before, remember, we're talking about a boyfriend that's going to be a husband. And for some of you, a husband just in general is what you're already looking for. And so if that's the case, and assuming you're going to have children with your husband, not only is he going to eventually have to be able to problem solve for himself, he's also going to have to be able to problem solve for you as well. In some ways, you're an adult, so you'll be able to problem solve a little bit for yourself, but definitely he's going to have to be able to help problem solve for his children. And so if he can't problem solve for himself and you expect that same man to be able to problem solve for your children, you're going to have a lot of problems. You're going to have a lot of problems, and you're going to find yourself in a position where even though you have a husband that's supposed to be helping you take care of these children, you effectively are taking care of these children by yourself because your husband is not equipped to solve problems, make any sort of adjustments. I'm not just talking about with you in the relationship, just in general and in life. And because he's not capable of doing that, you end up having to take care of everything. And because you end up having to take care of everything, you're turned off, one, and you're also more stressed out. Number two, living in your masculine all the time because you feel like you got to be on guard that nothing is going to get done if you don't do it. Okay, that's a very horrible position for you to be in emotionally, because when you're in that position, you won't be in your feminine whatsoever. And if you're not in your feminine, a lot of this down here in between your legs is not going to work right. I can assure you. Okay, I've heard many a horror story of how things get dried up over here the moment you start looking at your man and not thinking that he's capable of being a man. Okay, it don't work very well. Don't work very well. All right. So, do you guys have any questions about what we just discussed? So number one was here for the meal. Number two was you want a rice and chicken man. Number three, you want a man who stays hydrated. Number four, you want a man who waters his own grass. Number five, that understands the way of water. And number six, a Rubik's Cube expert. Okay. Heaven donates €2.50 in the YouTube chat. She says, why do men want peace when their exes aren't though? What do you mean? Like, so they want peace even though their exes weren't peace to them? Well, I mean, the simple answer to that question would be if their ex wasn't peace and that's an ex, then that kind of speaks to how that didn't work. You understand what I'm saying? But when guys say peace, I think sometimes you guys are thinking of something totally different than what it actually is. Sometimes when you guys think of peace, you're thinking, oh, I should just be quiet and not speak up for myself, not have any opinions, and just be as easygoing as possible. That's not the peace that they're referring to, okay? I just want you guys to be aware of that guys aren't talking about that type of peace when they say that they want peace. Now, they could be talking about peace in terms of they don't want the chaos that their partner brought them in other different ways in the relationship that just made them irresponsible or unreliable or just not a good girlfriend for whatever the reason may have been. But when guys talk about peace, they're not just saying, oh, I want you to be agreeable all the time and never speak up for yourself or never have opinions. That's not the peace that they're referring to. And I don't want you guys to be under the impression that that's the peace that guys are referring to when they say that. Okay. Scotty says 6 is the most important point. The Rubik's Cube, 100%. You need to have a problem solving man. I know that this sounds really stupid and really useless to you if you're young, because you're probably just thinking, I want a man who's hot and sexy and's got a great smile like Tomisin. That's great, but that's not actually going to help you when it's time for you to have kids and build a family. So all the points that I gave you, whether it be you're looking for a husband right now or you're looking for a boyfriend right now, those are still important things, because down the road, he's eventually supposed to be your husband, and assuming you're going to have children with him and build a family with him, these are really important character traits that you're going to need to he's going to need to possess, because if he doesn't possess them at that point, you can't make him possess them at that point when he's already a grown man. And by that point in your investment in him, it will be too late. It's for you to start undoing things and fixing things and all that good stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So Lauren says, how do you test whether he's a Rubik's Cube expert? Lean back and see what he does. Yes. Okay. So I know that some of the things that I talked about today aren't as hardcore as being able to just say, so Tomisin told me to ask about communication, so I want to say this exact statement and I want to see what your answer is in exactly 4 sentences or less, because that's going to determine whether you have good communication or not. I want you to understand that a lot of these points that I gave you all today, these are not things that you can just go out on a first date, ask someone a couple of questions and have a full, complete understanding of if he is that or not. It is precisely the exact reason why I tell all of you, you need to be exercising patience when you meet guys and you start dating them, because all of these things that we talk about, they take time to see and notice in people. It's not just one time on the first date, right? It's many dates, seeing them in many different circumstances, in many different ways, in many different shapes and forms, that you grow your understanding of them. And that's why I always say you're learning them, because each individual needs to be learned. You don't just automatically know who someone is the first time you meet them. You learn who they are over time. So you need to allow the process of being able to learn people over time. So to answer Lauren's question directly, you talked about, is the Rubik's Cube, is there something we can do to perfectly understand this on the first date? No, nothing you can do on the very first date to perfectly understand this. This is something that happens over time, where you start to get the idea. Remember the example that I gave of the girl that said, I realized over time that every time we would plan a date, he wouldn't be capable of being able to get the reservation, or the reservation would be at the wrong time, or he's just not capable of like doing the thing. Or even if it's something as small as like, if he says he's going to clean something, or I ask him to clean something, whether it be at my place or his, he like half cleans it and I have to come after him and clean it properly. Or whenever it comes to something like mundane, like just doing a chore, and he says he's going to do it, it's like I have to come after him and I have to clean the chore after him, because he's not capable of just doing it completely the right way the first time. Right? And these are the type of things that you'll start noticing as you begin to learn someone and say to yourself, oh, when it comes to being able to solve problems or use your critical thinking skills, you can't do that. In fact, you can't do that so much that I have to come in and I have to fix whatever you've done or undo whatever you've done, because you don't know how to problem solve and do things the right way. You'll be shocked, and I hate to make this sound horrible and morbid for you, but you'll be shocked how many men don't have critical thinking skills, that can't sit to themselves and really analyze situations and figure out the best course of action, or at least make, good decisions in general. You'll be shocked. But the good thing about it is, if you pace yourself and you relax and you have patience, you'll realize that, and then you cannot be with those men. Okay. The worst thing you can do is give yourself to a man who isn't capable of having critical thinking skills. Then by the time you sleep with him and spend years with him, you realize down the road, oh my God, I'm with a man who has no critical thinking skills, who isn't capable of solving any problems whatsoever. And what am I going to do now? Because I'm basically going to have to be in a relationship for 2 people. Okay, and I don't want that for you. So Duchess, let me see here. Let me pull it up here on my screen. Duchess donates $10 in the YouTube chat. She said, you guys are so generous today in the YouTube chat. How about if he wants to surprise me, but I like to plan in advance? If he wants to surprise you, actually, you know what, Duchess, you bring up a great point. See, That's actually a great point of someone who can solve problems, because a man who can surprise you in a way that surprises you, but also like actually works for you, that's like a man that can use critical thinking skills and solve problems. So I'll give you an example. Like, for example, if let's say you're dating a guy and he wants to take you out on a vacation, but he also knows that you're working a job where you can't just get up and go for a vacation, a really smart man is not just going to say, hey, I booked a plane ticket this week for us to go on vacation, right? Because then you'll be like, hold on, I can't. That's great that you spent $2,000 on this vacation, but I can't just get up and leave my job and go for a vacation. I don't have enough vacation days, or I have to ask my boss and it has to get approved and all that good stuff. So a smart man that's capable of problem solving knows how to surprise you, but also make it in a way that works for you. So I'll give you an example of doing that the right way. He'll say, oh, okay, I want us to go for a vacation, but I also know you can't just take whatever days off. So rather than booking the vacation first and surprising you with an already booked vacation before I ask you, I'm going to surprise you with a card that just says Jamaica. And, you know, it'll say Jamaica on it, and you'll be like, what does this mean? Oh, I plan for us to go on a vacation to Jamaica. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And you'll be surprised. You'll probably tear up, you'll cry and all that good stuff. So you get the surprise, but then he's already pre-planned how much the trip will cost, the places you're going to need to go, what the itinerary will be. The only thing he's left out is the time frame in which you'll go at. So then you decide, okay, what's the best time frame for us to go at after the surprise has already been given to you? So do you see how like a man with critical thinking skills and problem solving skills will be able to like give you a surprise, despite you Dutches being someone that likes to plan in advance, in a way that still lets you plan, still know what's going on, but still a surprise where you actually feel like he did something nice for you, but it doesn't, like in the process of him doing something nice for you, mess up your whole schedule and mess up your whole life. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? I hope that I gave you an example that makes sense, which is why it's so important to be with someone who has critical thinking skills, that can look forward to those things, anticipate issues or future problems or obstacles, and problem solve like that. That's why I really wanted to make you guys aware the problem solving is not just in the relationship when it comes to fights. It's very much also just everyday life type of problem solving as well. Does that make sense? G Dell says, where are those men who plan dates? I don't know anyone who's consistent. I can assure you, I know in the Players Club that we talk so much about what you shouldn't be looking for and all the ways that guys will play you and manipulate you. Those are very true, and I never want you to forget those. But I also never want you to forget that the person you are looking for is out there. And the reason that we have these conversations in the Players Club is so that you can spend less time on the men who you aren't looking for and more time on the men who you are looking for. Because there are men willing to be consistent, willing to show you all the things that you're looking for, give you princess treatment and all that good stuff. I just don't want you wasting a whole bunch of time on men who aren't looking for that, and are only looking to take advantage of you or get what they want from you, which is most of the time in between your legs, okay? LA says, is it controlling or caring when a guy asks you to wear less revealing clothes? Right? You said, just answer my dang question. Okay, first of all, the attitude, we don't need that in the Players Club, okay? There's hundreds of people's questions in here, and everyone has an equal say. You're not more important than other people, and that your question deserves to be answered any more than anyone else's. If you feel so impatient that you want your question answered in a second, you can go find someone else to answer your question, or you can hop into our premium relationship advice Discord section, where I answer questions more promptly. But you are not more important than the program. I never want you to forget that, okay? I don't care who you are, right? Everyone is equal here. Your question is not more important than others. Anyways, in terms of your question, right? Ellie says, I've been asking since last live. There's people that have been here for months, okay? Right? I just want you to understand that, okay? Hold your water. Be patient. If you really want your question answered, you go in the premium relationship advice section. Now, as it relates to your question, I can't even remember. I didn't even get to see what your question was. Let me scroll up. You said, is it controlling or caring when a guy asks you to wear less revealing clothes? I would say that it is a function of like the preference that he would like in his woman. Of course, if he loves his woman and cares about his woman, that he would love for her to not be on display for everyone. Now, I don't think that that's unnatural for men to feel that way. Then it becomes your choice whether it's more important for you to wear revealing clothes because maybe that makes you happier or maybe that makes you feel hotter. If that's more of a priority over your own man's comfortability or happiness, then you get to make the decision over, of what you want to do, right? I'm not here to tell any one of you what you want to do, but I don't think that it's a bad thing for your man to say, I would love for you to not wear clothes like that are super revealing. I mean, if he loves you and cares about you, he doesn't want, even though he thinks you have an amazing dump truck or he thinks you have amazing yitties, I'm sure he probably wouldn't want them like falling out of your shirt for other men to see. Okay, I don't think that that's unnatural. Man, I hope you guys know, I don't know how anyone else does their relationships. So I only speak on heterosexual straight relationships, but for straight heterosexual men, yeah, they're going to be territorial. That's how, like, that's like within us. Okay, we're going to be protective. That's like within us, not a crime. It actually means we like you. In fact, you should be concerned with the men in your life that you're thinking you're building a relationship with that aren't territorial or protective over you. That's probably a sign that he doesn't like you as much as you think that he likes you. Okay, I'll just let you guys know on that. Okay, I won't repeat what some of you said in the YouTube chat. Anyways, you guys know what time it is. Okay, you should know what time it is by now. Okay, we have a very important, special, amazing time in the show. Can you tell me in the YouTube and TikTok chat what time it is? Because I'm going to sing a song, but I want to see if you know what time it is, because some of these people are new here. They don't know what time it is. They confused. They new here and all that good stuff. Can you tell me what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Here we go now. Can you tell me what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Here we go now. Can you tell me what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Here we go now. Chat, tell me what time it is. Do you know what time it is? I want to know what time is it. Here we go. What time is it? In the chat. Here we go. What time is it? Here we go. What time is it? In the chat. I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time. What time is it? I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time. What time is it? I want to know what time it is. I want to know what time. Okay, guys. All right, chat. Let's head over into the Discord. I know some of you are really confused every time that I do that, or maybe you're new here. And Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Players Club get an opportunity to ask me questions about their relationship or their situationship in the Discord, and I answer them live on the show. Now, I'll make you aware, we have two versions of relationship advice in our Discord section. So we have what's called the free relationship advice section, and we have premium relationship advice. In the free section, you can hop in, ask your question, and I will get to it. It's on a first come, first serve basis, but I will warn you, I'll show you, this is the free section. All these highlighted questions are questions that I haven't answered, which is like hundreds. Okay, so it's first come, first serve, which means I have to go in the order of the oldest question. So I'd have to start down here 26 days ago, and your question basically wouldn't get answered today if you were to ask your question. Now, if you're impatient and you don't want to wait that long for me to get to your question, you can hop into the premium relationship advice section, and it's like a VIP pass at a theme park where essentially you get to skip the line. I answer your question in the VIP section first, and then I go into the free section and I answer questions in there afterwards. Okay, now in order to get into the VIP section, it's very simple. All you got to do first is donate to the show by going into the link in my description or pinned comment if you're on YouTube, or you can head over into the link in my bio if you're on TikTok. Once you click that link, you'll be able to see where it says premium relationship advice, donate to the show. All you got to do is when you donate to to the show, you just put in your message, your username on Discord, and the title of your question. And then on my phone, I get a notification and I can verify that that is you that has asked your question in the Discord. So that way it makes it easy and fair for everyone, because we want to be fair to people that are donating to the show to get their question answered promptly, that you're actually doing that. Okay, so that's like our little verification process. Tracy Nows also donates $10 in the YouTube chat. Just a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Nicole donates $5 in the YouTube chat. She says, I love that you stood your ground. Yeah, guys, you guys know me. I'm not interested in being the most liked person, and I want this Players Club experience to be fair for everyone. So there is nobody that is more important than other people because they asked their question 1,000 times. If you want to answer promptly, it's perfectly fine. You can go over to Premium Relationship Advice and I'll answer your question promptly. But there is order to this, okay? There's structure. And I ain't gonna fold on that structure for nobody, all right? So Elle says, starts off with her question here. She says, advice on relationship dynamics and ultimatums. Wow, this sounds interesting, okay? Let's see here what Elle says, all right? So Elle starts off by saying, hi, Tomisin. I hope you can give me some advice on this situation. I hope so too. I'm 31 and currently dating a much older man. He's 62. Oh boy. Okay. We met while I was writing my master's thesis. I know you won't like what's coming next, so brace yourself. On a dating app in January 2023. Nice. 62-year-old men are on dating apps? I just didn't even know. I must be out of the loop. I live in Germany and he lives in Austria, so we didn't meet in person right away due to the distance and his busy schedule as a businessman. You were writing your master's thesis. Yeah. Okay, business, because I was thinking thesis or school. Okay. He offered me two options. I could visit him in Italy, like with his grandchildren, where he had some business meeting and his grandchildren. That's also where he spends his time in the summer with his grandchildren, or wait until he returned to Germany. I decided to visit him in Sardinia and he flew me out on a PJ. Okay. Wow. All right. He's balling. Got some bread. All right. That wealth, that old money. Our first date lasted 4 days. We started talking in January and finally met in June after months of texting and video calls. 62-year-old men know how to video call? Are they good with technology like that? I guess he makes lots of money, millionaire status, right? After that, we met 4 more times and made our relationship official. We've been together for over a year now and recently celebrated our first anniversary in August. Things have been going well, and I've never dated someone so similar to me. However, I've started having second thoughts. You don't have much time for second thoughts. You gotta be on your first thought. I believe, I'm just making jokes with you, okay? I believe that as the woman, I should be the one receiving while he should be putting in the effort, most of the effort of our relationship. Fair? However, after he did that for the past few months, I let my guard down and started putting in a little bit more effort. Okay, well, I want to be very specific. A lot of what I talk about is at the very beginning when the relationship hasn't even been established yet. If you're saying at this point he's now your boyfriend, yeah, I mean, like, you should be putting an effort into the relationship. I don't want you guys to think that, like, you should never put an effort into a relationship with your boyfriend or your husband. Like, come on, like, be for real. But there's a line there, okay? There's a balance there. Now it feels like there's been a shift and he expects me to show more affection, like initiating text and calls and expressing my desire to visit him. I've been to his place in Austria because he's not divorced yet. Somehow you guys always find a way to let me down, truthfully. And it's painful every single time. Okay. I love you all, but for the life of me, I cannot understand what the appeal is to dating a married man. Maybe I do need to do a whole show on why you shouldn't be dating married men. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would actually have to do a whole show dedicated to why it's not good to date married men. But I'm starting to realize that I probably should be, because I think that some of you don't know that, truthfully. It doesn't matter what men say to you or how soon they're going to be divorced. Until a man is divorced, that is the only time you should start dating him. Not while he's married and about to get divorced. Okay? It never works out good for you that way. I've never heard a success story come from, yeah, I started dating him right before he got divorced. He's separated from his wife and they live in different houses. Of course they do. He's stinking rich. He can buy her a different house if he doesn't want to see her. What does that mean? But his daughter lives next to him in his old house. Okay. If I visit, I likely meet his daughter, who might tell his wife about me. And since they're not divorced yet, he doesn't want to complicate the divorce process. If he truly didn't want to complicate the divorce process, he would divorce her first and then build a relationship with you. Shouldn't be that hard or that difficult if he's balling like this, right? What is he? I mean, I get he's trying to protect his assets, but if he's really that serious about his assets, why even take the risk? He has 3 kids, 2 daughters, and an older son. His son, who lives about 20 minutes away from me, knows about me. So we're already playing a dangerous game here. One challenge I face is that I can be a bit controlling. The reason I'm saying playing a dangerous game is because he might have a clause in whether or not he got a prenup, I don't know. But he also might have a clause where if he cheats, then maybe his prenup might be null and void, or maybe that will just entitle him to more money. Entitle his ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, to more money. So that could be part of the reason why he doesn't want his children or his wife to find out, because he's scared that she'll be entitled to more alimony if they get divorced because he cheated. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's probably one of the reasons why he doesn't want nobody to know about this situation, on top of the fact that that's his wife still. I was way too busy and insisted he wash his... One challenge I face is I can be a bit controlling. I was way too busy and insisted he wash his hands when he comes in, and that he shouldn't walk on my cream carpet with his slippers, like his outside slippers, which came across as too commanding to him and affected our time together. Well, okay. Nothing wrong with not wanting people to walk with their outside shoes on your inside carpet. But, there's a way to say that where it doesn't feel like, hey, take your damn monkey slippers off of my clean carpet. You know what I mean? Like, there's a way to say it where it doesn't feel offensive to people. I'm not saying that you said it in an offensive way. I'm just saying maybe that could be the thing that he's referring to. When he returned to Sardinia, he texted me expressing that he felt unwelcome at my place because of my demands. He said it felt like I was treating him like a child. I admit I can be controlling at times. Since he had visitors waiting for him, he asked me to give him 3 days before he could explain exactly what was bothering him. To this, I'll say, honestly, 3 days is a lot, but also you're dating a married man who has a whole nother family and a whole bunch of other family stuff going on. So this is part of the problem. Now, when you guys have an issue or a situation that needs to be solved or worked on, he's got a whole bunch of other priorities that are more important than you. Part of the reason why I tell you guys never to date married men, because you're never going to be the number one priority. And it's not his fault that you're not the number one priority, because you should have known that going into dating a married man. I gave him that time. He told me that if I can't change my behavior, we might not have a future together. It felt like an ultimatum, which I really disliked. I believe that in a relationship, we should work through issues together, not issue ultimatums over small things. After he told me how he felt, I asked for some space to think. He agreed, saying I could have as much time as I needed. However, just 2 days later, he started texting me, saying he felt lonely and wondered why we weren't talking. Now I'm unsure of what to do. Okay, this is a very important point I want to make to you guys about dating really rich, powerful men. If he can fly you out on a PJ, I know that that's awesome. I know this is going to sound horrible, but I need to give it to you guys straight so you can understand this. Dating really rich, powerful men is awesome. Really rich, powerful men, the way they got really rich and powerful is by taking a whole lot of control over their life. So here's the thing. When you date a rich and powerful man that was already rich and powerful before he met you, he's not going to be looking at you as necessarily someone who, I'm just going to put it frankly, I'll say it like this. He's looking at you more as something that is meant to appease him and be what he's looking for, more than he's looking to make adjustments for you. Simply because what he's been doing up until this point in terms of success in his career and in his life, he has had success doing what works for him the way that he does it. That's part of the issue with dating men who are like fully already established. While it's super fun and easy for you, it puts you in a position where he already knows what he wants, how he wants it, and he's a lot less willing to compromise with you because of that. And so I'm not saying that that's right or a good thing. I just want you to understand that's part of the thing that comes when everyone says date a rich man, date a baller, date a man, all that good stuff. Sure. But you also have to understand those type of men are a lot less willing to compromise, because up until this point, I mean, if he has a private jet to fly you out on, we're not even talking about like the millions, like a couple mil. We're talking about hundreds of millions, like even like touching like over like close to like 500 mil. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're talking wealth, not just, a little bit of richness type of thing. And so I say that to say those type of men are really, especially you're not even the wife, but you're not the first woman in his life, right? He's had a first wife. I don't even know if that's his first wife. Could be a second wife, right? But either way, you'll be the second girlfriend or eventually the second wife. And you'll be meeting him when he's already established. So all of the things that he's been doing to get to the point where he is now have been working for him to get to where he is. So I hate to say it, but those type of men are so hardened in their way of thinking. It becomes very hard to like tell them anything or get them to make adjustments, because they're like, if you don't like what I'm doing and you don't want to fly on a private jet because you like the way that I go about life, cool, I'll find someone who is. And they're just, because of that, they're a little bit more arrogant and they're a little bit more unwilling to like adjust, right? Kim just said it, they're more rigid. Right? I just have to be honest, not saying that it's right or wrong. I just have to be honest with you. That's what comes with that territory, especially that rich. We're talking wealthy now. Should I go back to texting him like everything is normal, even though he made me wait? Or should I continue to take the time I need to think things through? It's also worth me mentioning that we don't see each other often, once a month for every about 5 days. Yes, he has a whole nother family due to his busy schedule and his family and soon to be grandchildren. He's about to have grandchildren soon. I'm not really happy about that, because when we met, he even convinced me to stop working so I could be more available to see him. Okay. I never like to stop reminding you guys that I am a man, so I know how men think and I know how they go about things, okay? While I might not be on this status of wealth yet, keyword is yet, I do understand, for the most part, the way that those type of men think and go about their life, okay? Because when a man is that wealthy and well off, and he's already established how his life goes, he's got routines, he knows what he wants because that's been working from him, the way that he's been going about things, he wants you to be more like an accessory to what he already has going on, more than he wants you to be like someone that tries to change him or force him to make major adjustments in his life. Like I said, not saying that that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just letting you know that that is what comes with the personality that you're inheriting, with the type of guy you're inheriting, right? A super uber wealthy man who's got access to a lot of resources and things. He's not really going to be interested in you trying to make him make a lot of life adjustments. He's going to be more interested in how can I set you up so that you can kind of serve me in the ways that, I want you to serve me. Okay. Just have to let you in on that secret. So if that's something you're uncomfortable with, probably want to reconsider dating a man that uber wealthy. Okay. Because maybe that might not be the lifestyle for you. I'm just going to be honest with you. More often, so that you'll be more available to him more often and fly to visit whenever possible. right? So I've been not working and staying at home for over a year, and he covers all my bills. This is a mistake. This is a very grave mistake, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. Since he is very busy, I keep myself occupied by exercising a lot. Of course, you want to look hot for him, reading quite a bit, and continuing my education in sales as I plan to become a real estate agent in the future. How? He just told you he doesn't want you to work. This helps me stay busy. Part 3. There's more to the story, but we'd be here for a while if I went into all the details. And also, how could I get him to put as much into the relationship as he did in the beginning? I'm unsure how to proceed or what steps to take next. And of course, I appreciate your help in advance. Okay, so I'm glad you sent this into Relationship Advice Premium, because Els, you need some damn advice. And ironically, you probably used his money to send it into Premium, a question about him. That's actually funny and ironic, and I like that. That's pretty cool. So I say that to say, Els, you're in a very special situation, and I want to advise you on a few important things before I answer your main question on how you should proceed. The first thing I want to advise you to do is get a job, okay? The reason for that is, I know it sounds amazing in theory to like be with a man that's so wealthy that you never have to work again. I'm sure everyone in the chat would also love that. Here's the thing though, you're not yet his wife. So in the event that you don't work and he, like, let's say he never speaks to you again, or he doesn't want to be in this relationship again, you actually get nothing as a girlfriend. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I know this sounds mean. You're not even a girlfriend. You're a side chick, okay? Because he still has a wife. And because of that, if he ever decides that he doesn't want to be with you anymore, he gets to leave you scot-free, doing nothing. Like, he doesn't owe you to pay your bills. He might do that out of the kindness of his heart, but he doesn't necessarily owe you that. If he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. And so I say that to say you're in a very vulnerable position by not allowing yourself to have any other income aside from him, because now you feel emotionally and physically, sorry, I should say emotionally and financially dependent on him, which is actually what he wants. Why? Because when you're an uber wealthy man, it actually benefits you to have the people around you, closest to you, dependent on you, because then he gets to treat you however he wants to treat you, but you don't get to stand up for yourself, because if you upset him or you anger him or you're not in line with what he's looking for, then he says, oh, okay, then I'll just take my ball and go home. I'll walk away from this relationship. I'll stop paying your bills. Do you want me to stop paying your bills, Missy? You're living in such a nice apartment that I pay this amazing $5,000 rent for. Would you like to go back to living in the slums? Or not that you live in the slums, or would you like to go back to living in mediocrity where you don't go out to really fancy restaurants and you don't get flown out on private jets? Do you want to fly commercial again? How disgusting would it be to fly Delta or American Airlines after you've been going on private jets all this time? You want to be a second-class citizen again? And see, the threat of that will become so, will put you in so much fear that you'll never feel like you should be able to speak up for yourself. And you'll constantly feel like, okay, whatever he wants me to do, I'll just do it because I can't go back to literally eating regular sushi. I got to eat at Nobu. I can't go back to flying Delta or Spirit. I got to fly private. You understand what I'm saying? And you'll constantly be in that cycle, convincing yourself that I'll just appease him, whatever he wants me to do, okay? And so the thing about that is, like I said, because you're the girlfriend, because you're the side chick, you get nothing if he decides one day that he doesn't want to play with you anymore. You understand? And so you get a job so that you're not reliant on him, pay your own bills so that you can properly demand respect in the relationship and not be in fear that he might leave you or stop paying your bills, right? Because when you're not in fear like that, then you'll be able to gain some respect of his. And then maybe you can start building a relationship off of respect rather than building a relationship where you're just like his play toy that he gets access to whenever he feels like he wants access to you. You don't want that, okay? Now, the second thing that needs to be addressed for you in terms of what you should be doing now in this relationship to get what you want is nothing, truthfully. Whether he's a rich man, a wealthy man, a poor man, the best thing for you to do is nothing, because if he really wants you, he'll pursue you. He's paying all your bills, great. He's taking care of you financially, great. When he has time, he tries to see you, great. And he flies you out, great. Here's the thing though. If he wants you and he wants to continue having access to you, that is still something that he wants from you. So if he wants that thing from you, he's going to have to approach you the right way, and he's going to have to put in that effort. I'm sure he's capable of doing things I'm sure he's capable of putting an effort towards things that he really wants because that's how he got wealthy. Assuming he doesn't just come from family money or something like that, like oil money or something. Assuming he like was self-made somewhat, then he knows how to go after what he wants and get that thing. So the same thing applies to you. If he really wants access to you and he really loves you that much, he knows how to go after you by pursuing you the same way he pursued his own goals and finances, right? And so the thing for you is do nothing. In fact, do less than nothing because he knows exactly how to get what he wants and he has the resources to do that. You understand what I'm saying? He has even more resources than the average man because now he can say, I would really love to see you. When are you free next? I will fly you out whenever you're free. Have a schedule and have things to do because yes, he's communicating to you that he's frustrated. He can't see you as much as he wants to, but it's good for him to be frustrated. Why? Because it continues to put him in a place where he's emotionally hungry for you. Not feeling like I have access to her because a guy like this that's uber wealthy, very, very easily, he can turn you into DoorDash Super Express. Insanely. Because think about this. A man like this has nothing. He doesn't hear no. He doesn't even hear, obstacles. As soon as you say, oh, I would love to come spend time with you, or can you spend time with me? He thinks to himself, right now, I'm free for the next 36 hours. I want to see her right now. I'm going to call her right now. I'm going to book her a private jet right now. And I expect her to be at my doorstep in an hour or less. So if you live in a different country, he can actually turn you into like DoorDash Super Express. You know, with DoorDash and Uber Eats, you can't get food past a certain distance away from you, right? He can turn you into this special DoorDash Super Express where you show up in 45 minutes or less, even though you live in a different country. That's insane. Imagine ordering Uber Eats for a restaurant that exists in a different country. That's exactly what he's doing to you because he has the resources for it. But I say that to say, regardless of the fact he has the resources to make you DoorDash Super Express, private jet, I still don't want you to be that. I still want you to have your own schedule and have your own things for your own life that he continues to have to be hungry for you and want to see you more and want to see you more and want to build this relationship more. Because what you don't want is, at the end of the day, no matter how much he says he's separated from his wife and all this good stuff, he's still in a marriage with his wife. And I want you to put subconscious pressure on him and give him a sense of urgency that if he does not get through with this divorce and make this thing happen where he's single, then he might lose out on you, right? And to be honest with you, if you really wanted to make a stance and really wanted to earn some respect, I would let him know that, you're not going to be sitting around waiting for him to finish being divorced, and he can hit you up whenever he's finished divorced. And if you're still free and still single, then maybe you'll consider dating him, but you're not going to continue dating a married man. Now, I know, because I'm a realist, okay? I know you're getting your rent paid for and your lifestyle paid for. You're more than likely 99.9% not going to do that because you want everything to be paid for and you don't want to turn this guy away. So you won't do that. That's what you should do if you really want to earn respect, but I know you won't. So I'm giving you the alternate version of advice based on what I know you'll probably actually end up doing, which is you still want to talk to him because you still want to get your bills paid and you still want your lifestyle to be paid for, but you do want to earn some of that respect. So you need to take a step back and allow him to pursue you and you also need to go get a job so you can start paying your own bills, not relying on him. And when he tells you, oh, I don't like how you're disrespectful, or I don't like how you said this or said that or did this, you're not in anxiety fear mode. And you can say, no, if you don't like me telling you that you can't wear your slippers on my carpet, then go F off. Go find someone else to deal with. I'm not going to take the BS and just let you walk all over me because you spend some money. What does money do? Money is paper. You can't listen. I love all of you beautiful people. And I know some of you guys, watch Shira, right? And I know some of you guys love watching Shira because she tells you how to get the bag and attract those rich men. But I will warn you, I always like to warn you that it can become very dangerous for you when all you're consumed with is getting the bag and getting the rich man and getting those men to spend money on you. Because what will end up happening is, yeah, cool, you'll attract a rich man, okay? I'm admitting that you can do that with those techniques. But what will also happen is in the process of you attracting a whole lot of rich men, those rich men will come across you and realize that the easiest way to manipulate you is by putting money in front of you and throwing money at you. They take you out on fancy dates. They sleep with you in one night. They spend some money on you and they get you to do whatever it is they want you to do whenever it is they want you to do it. You don't speak up for yourself because he buys you gifts and because he pays your rent. So men end up being able to manipulate you rather than selling you a dream. They just give you money to manipulate you. And you end up being manipulated by that because you're so consumed with the idea that if he spends money on me, then I should do whatever he wants. So you end up with the same pain and the same trauma. The avenue is just different because rather than it being focused on manipulating your emotions, they manipulate you by throwing money at you. So it ends up being all the same, which is why I never want you guys to be so hyper fixated on money that you end up putting yourself in a position like this where, yeah, a guy's paying all your bills and paying your rent and all that good stuff. But then when he comes over and he says, yeah, I'm paying all your rent and all your bills, but, today I feel like sleeping with another girl. And I'm going to let you know that for the next 3-4 months, I'm going to be sleeping with whoever I want. You cool with that? And what are you going to say? No? Because then he's going to be like, oh, if you're not cool with that, I'll take my $5,000 rent. I'll take my apartment back. I'll take my car back. I'll take every single gift that I gave you back, and I'll go spend it on a different girl if you don't want to deal with me sleeping with other girls. Does that sound good? And then you're going to say, oh, you know what? Sorry, daddy. Yeah, you can go sleep with whoever you want because you don't feel like you have a say, and you'd rather get the money than you would get the respect. Don't put yourself in that position. Okay. Else. So do nothing, get a job so that, cause you have a master's, what? You did your master's degree. So you have a master's in something. Get your job, get your career going so that you can do for yourself and not be reliant on him. And only if he makes you his wife do you start talking about not working and all that good stuff and actually considering that. Until he makes you his wife, like you have a ring and you have a marriage certificate, until he does that, do not ever consider the possibility of not working and not doing anything because you will be holding no leverage. And if he wants to discard of you, he'll be able to discard of you scot-free. Because at least if you don't work and he discards of you, he'll owe you money by law, right? But if you are working, if you're not working and you're just his girlfriend or his side piece and he wants to go be with someone else tomorrow, he doesn't owe you nothing. Okay? So just remember that and play the game smart. You understand what I'm saying? Next we have, I know I spent a lot of time on that, but that was a complex situation. Next we have here electric feel from our chat here. Oh, it's electric feel. Okay, so electric feel says IG crush is trash. Electric Feel says, I had my eyes on this guy on IG. We are both vegan and follow each other. I stay off his stories and socials. I think he's pretty cute though. He reacted to a reel I posted of myself and my artwork and finally DM'd me, but I'm disappointed in what he said. He obviously wants some pineapples. Uh-oh. I'm thinking do nothing. What did he say? But I'm also wondering, do I say awesome, show me what you got, or do I say we'll see? He has potential to evolve, and I need to know the right course of action. Thanks, Tomisin. Your advice rules my heart. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is the message that he sent. All right, let's look, chat. Let's get nosy. So he says, so I usually have he actually sent this emoji with the cowboy hat. Okay. So I usually have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday off if you ever need like a vegan guy to drive up and gaze longingly into your eyes while he tells you how wonderful you are and gives you a foot massage for a little bit sometime. Is this how vegan people flirt? I don't know. I'm a carnivore. This is how, chat, tell me in the chat, this is how the vegans flirt? Is this the vegan flirting? Okay, in all seriousness though, any massage talk is not good type of talk. So you're a smarty pants, Electric Feel. You know, when guys start talking about massage talk, right, it's not a good sign. And someone said this was his first message. Yes, Electric Feel said this was his very first message sliding into the DMs about giving a foot massage. I'm not gonna lie, that's not a good sign. Okay, it doesn't speak well. Now, I will say some guys are a little bit stunted in knowing how to like smoothly slide into DMs. They're not smooth, but it's not a good sign that he's talking anything massage related. You already know, guys. For those of you who are on the mature side, you already know when it comes to massages, it's not going anywhere that's meant to be, you know, for PG audiences. Okay. And so that is definitely a thing. So my advice to you, Electric Field, I actually want you to do a combination of these two things. So you said you want to let him show you what he's got. So give him the opportunity to do that. I actually don't even want you to respond to the whole foot massage weird thing. You can acknowledge that he's vegan. Maybe that can be something you guys talk about. And then if he wants to like continue the conversation and take you out on a date, that's cool. But any of this like going over to your place stuff, this even when he says drive up and gaze longingly into your eyes, buddy, you can drive up and you can take me to a vegan restaurant or we can have a vegan picnic outside, but ain't no driving up and walking right into my place and sleeping with me type of thing. So, you can honestly, if I was putting myself in a girl's shoes, I would be like, and you wanted to respond to this, I'd be like, you're a stranger. You're not gonna come over to my place. I don't even know you. LOL. Right? And just leave it there. I know that sounds mean, but like leave it there where he can get the sense that, okay, well, yeah, she's not just like down for anything. And also get the sense that like at least she responded to me. So clearly that I can have some sort of conversation with her. And she didn't say she would never see me. She just said like, you're a stranger. You're not going to come over to my place. And I don't know you. Okay. It's a good way to kind of like set guys straight where I'm not sure what you were trying to approach me as, but it's not that. And they go, okay, my apologies. And then he can choose whether he wants to like approach you the right way or approach you correctly, or if he's going to continue trying to push and say, well, maybe if I go on one date with you afterwards, I can give you the foot massage. No, buddy. If you actually want to get to know me, you can do that, but it's not going to consist of you giving me foot massages in my house. Like, what the hell? And yeah, I would make that very, very, very clear. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of like, you're just not coming over to my house. I don't know you. You're a stranger. Because it is a stranger. Okay. You don't know this guy. And I know you're thinking to yourself, but Tomisin, that might sound mean and he might take it as I don't like him. Who cares? Okay. And I need you to like adopt the mentality, who cares? You got to set people straight when they approach you, and they better approach you with respect. Okay. You need to be more worried about your respect than anything, because if a guy thinks you're fun girl that he can just have some vegan fun with, oh, trust me, he'll utilize you like a vegan fun girl. Okay. You got to show that you mean business. Okay. Because the way he sounded doesn't even sound like he really vegan for real. Sounds like he says that as like a punchline to get girls who look good because maybe they have a better diet or something like that. I don't know. Just sounds silly. So that's my advice to you on that. Next we have here Rachel. Rachel says, I got attracted to an emotionally unavailable man. Can we change emotional unavailable people? You're not going to like my answer. And you say, how? I'm 33. He's 31. He has a good personality, smart and caring, gives me all the princess treatment that I could ever dream of. We started off as friends. We started off as close friends. Recently met and developed feelings for each other for 4 months. Everything was good. We matched in every way. We share similar personalities and interests. The intimacy was perfect, and all the dates, day, dinner, weekend, picnic, bed dates. There's a bed date? Is that a date? Is that what the kids are doing now? We had all of them. No complaints. The only thing is that he's already had a long-term partner. They've been together for over 7 years. How old is he? Oh. But he's still hesitating in getting married with her. What do you mean? What? Like he hesitated? You're saying it in present tense. They lived together for a while. Something happened and she moved out. Okay. These are the type of things that I be mentioning to you guys. You need to, a 7-year relationship, you need to be crystal clear why things ended. 7 years is not just I fell out of love with you or I stopped liking you or I found a new person. 7 years, there has to be a real, very concrete, hardcore reason why the relationship ended. You need to understand that wholeheartedly. And you also need to understand, where do you guys stand now? Because 7 years together is not something where you can just break it off in an instant and be good in a couple months, because you have a life together after 7 years. They live separately now, but they've never actually ended. Of course they haven't. It's been 7 years they were together. And how long has it been since they broke up? You didn't mention. He shared with me once back then, when we were just friends, he is not sure about marrying her. So you've been, okay, nice. So you've been the side friend that has been wanting him while he was in a relationship with this other girl. This is a side note, chat, but do you see why I say this friendship thing is a whole bunch of BS? Okay. Let me see your name here. Rachel was his friend, right? Throughout this relationship that he was having with the other girl. Now that he's single, she's now exploring a relationship with him. Okay. Not to say you're a bad person, Rachel. I just like to remind the chat that this whole friend thing is like, it's just BS. One person likes the other. And it's just that's always the case. It's always the case. Okay. It might not be you. It might be the guy, or it might be that likes you, or whatever the case may be. But the friendship stuff doesn't happen for no reason. I didn't ask for the details, but I guess he was just she just chickened out before marriage. Let's go on. As 4 months passing by, so this is 4 months of him being single from his 7-year relationship. Well, you said they never actually ended. I recognize that I'm starting to take things between us more serious. I've developed stronger feelings. I know that what we're doing is not fair for both of us, for both his girlfriend and me. Okay, so this is still officially his girlfriend. Oh boy. Wow. Let me take a sip of water. Okay. I just spilled some on myself. Okay. So this is still his girlfriend, and you're trying. Okay. Let me rephrase my thought process here. I chose myself, so I walked away. We've gone no contact for a month. It's hurt, but I know there's no such thing as right person, wrong time. Yes, maybe you joined me for our show that we had about that. There's no such thing as that. My question for you in such case where the person is so good, skipping them might take us another very long time to meet such a compatible person again in our life. Again, that's an assumption. And of course, you're going to feel like that when you're in it. Okay, you're always going to feel like you're never going to meet someone that amazing again until you meet someone even more amazing. Okay, I get it. Your world feels small because it's right now in the present, but I can assure you there is definitely a great, amazing man out there available for you that doesn't have a girlfriend. Okay, I never want you, like, this idea that like the guy for me is in a relationship with another girl. Like, please, all of you shed that mindset. The guy that is for me and is perfect for me, my Prince Charming, is married to another woman, or the guy that's for me is in a relationship with another woman. Please leave those men alone. Please. Do yourself and him a favor. Mostly yourself a favor, because you will never be able to find a Prince Charming in a man who's already in a relationship. Okay? It's a waste of your time. And like, there's just no point doing that. With emotionally an unavailable person, can we change them? 100% utterly not. It's not your place, nor should you be trying to change someone into being more emotionally available. That's not you can't process a relationship for someone who was in a relationship first of all, I don't even know why I'm saying process he's in the relationship still. That's still his girlfriend. I don't even know why I'm talking about his relationship as if it's in the past. He's still in it. You're trying to compete with the girl who he's been in a relationship with for 7 years. You're not going to win that battle. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't know oh God, I'm going to yell at you after this, in a way that is not lowering our value or compromise our boundaries. That absolutely doesn't work like that. Because honestly, I don't want to skip this one. I'm gonna yell at you. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. You're gonna get scolded after this. Second question: if I still want to manipulate him into pursuing me instead of letting go, what are your advice on steps to take? I'm gonna scold you. I'm not gonna be nice to you. You're in relationship advice premium. You're gonna get the belt. How to initiate something to manipulate him to choose me? Wow, each question gets worse. Outside of going no contact and staying silent. Should I initiate contact again in the next 3 weeks? How to avoid turning this into a cycle of a situationship. Girl, he is in a relationship still. What? Let me take a stretch, guys. Let me take a stretch because I don't want to blow a gasket. We just started. Okay. Oh God. Okay. Look, I spilt water all over my pants. Look at that. Cuz I'm going crazy over here. Okay. Rachel. The man you're talking about avoiding a situationship with is in a whole relationship still of 7 years. Please let go of the idea that you and him are going to be together. You then go on to say, I know it sounds kind of evil and unethical, but I'm just trying to understand all options I have in hand so I can consider what I want and what I'm capable of doing. Hence, very appreciative if you not give me all the ethical lectures. Thank you, Tomisin, in advance, and sorry for my English, if any. Okay, Rachel, I'm not here to be nice to you, okay? I'm also not here to tell you what you want to hear. So if you were expecting to send in your question and I was going to tell you all the ways you can manipulate a person, this is the problem, okay? I know that we call the show the Players Club, and I know that we talk about manipulation a lot in the Players Club. So you guys are thinking, okay, how can I use this to my advantage to get this one up in the situation and one up in that situation, okay? Here's the thing though, while we do talk about manipulation, I never advise you guys to be using that information to manipulate people in already existing relationships or manipulate people who aren't even ready to be in a relationship with you. And here's the thing, and it just gets me upset and I have to address it. There is no quick fix to getting someone who is emotionally unavailable to be emotionally available. It does not work like that. Listen to me. Maybe you can go ask someone else and they will give you some BS methods in a way to do that. It is impossible. That is not something you solve for someone else or you speed someone else up in. Two very important things that need to be addressed here. One, he's not in the relationship anymore. He's still in the relationship with her. So you're talking about how to get him not emotionally unavailable. Rachel, he's still in the relationship. It's not even about being emotionally unavailable. His emotions are invested into his girlfriend. You're talking as if they've broken up and they're still together. That's still his girlfriend. So it's not being emotionally unavailable. It's just the fact that he's emotionally available to his girlfriend. Please stop speaking as if he's broken up with the girl that he hasn't broken up with. The second very important thing is you're trying to... Oh God, man. I told you I'm going to scold you. You're trying to compete with someone who he's been in a relationship with for 7 years. Maybe you haven't been in a relationship for 7 years, so you can't possibly comprehend how deep of a bond you would share with someone in that amount of time. I haven't even been in a relationship with someone for 7 years, but I do know if putting myself in someone's shoes like that, I do know for the relationships I've had, if someone can be with someone for 7 years of their life, and on top of that, he's 31. So 7 years of his life goes back to since he was 24? That means basically all of his young adult life, right? And all of the most important years in terms of like transitioning into his late 20s and really becoming a real adult has all been spent with this same woman. Those are like the most vital, pivotal times of his life where he's going through the most change in his life and really becoming a man. All of that has been experienced with one woman, and that woman is not you. and he's still with that woman. So I say all that to say, you're fighting a losing battle, thinking that you're going to be able to put up any sort of numbers against the woman he spent 7 years of his young adult life with, literally growing the most. He's spent the most time in his life growing with that girl in that relationship than he will probably spend for the rest of his life, because those are like the really, really pivotal years where you go through a lot. So I say that to say, you're trying to compete with a woman you will never be able to compete with. Not because you're not amazing or awesome or don't have really good character traits, but because you will never, the bond you could create with him will never equate to the bond that he still has. Still has. Did you hear me say still has? Because he's still in a relationship with her. That he still has with that woman. And I don't want you guys to think I'm talking out of my butt, right? They've been together for 7 years, right? And that's still his girlfriend. What does she say, right? It's not fair for both of us and his girlfriend and me, okay? So that's still his girlfriend. I just don't want you guys to think I'm talking out of my butt here. So I say that to say, Rachel, in the state that you're in, it's not about giving you the lectures of, oh, what's good and wrong and bad. The only lecture and advice I'm going to give you is you're wasting your time. You're not going to compete with the girl that he's still dating and has been dating for 7 years. You're not going to compete with that. You're not going to escape the friend zone and become his girlfriend over this girl. Doesn't matter what they're going through. It doesn't matter the fact that they moved out. They've been together for 7 years. People that have been together for that long know how to figure it out more than they know how to break up. Okay? You have to understand, maybe you're not familiar with this terminology, but there's a Newton's law. I know it's physics, and some of you guys, I don't care about physics, but there's a saying in Newton's law where it's a law. Things in motion want to stay in motion, and things that are at rest want to stay at rest, okay? But it's a concept that you can take with you and understand. If they've been together for 7 years, it's actually easier for them to stay in a relationship than it is for them to break up, because they've spent so much time together, they only know each other. So for them to actually break up, it's going to take way more effort and way more energy than it is for them to stay together in this relationship, because they only know each other. So I say that to say you're wasting a whole bunch of your time thinking about how you can get a guy who is invested in another woman, invested in you. Waste of your time. And on top of that, you're not even in a situation like Els, who at least the guy was showing her intention. You're saying that this guy doesn't want me. He doesn't really care that much about me. He's not really pursuing me that much. So I'm thinking of a strategy to get him to want me. And I'm trying to help you understand there is no strategy to get a guy who is invested in another girl to be invested in you. Doesn't work like that. Because if he has no intention of being with you, you can't force him to be intentional about being with you. And that's part of the thing where I always try to remind you guys, I'm just a human being. So the advice I give you, yes, it works. And yes, it will help you get the results that you want, but it's not a magic pill or a magic potion. You can't just take it or pour it on someone and change your entire circumstance that a guy who never liked you and never wanted to build with you all of a sudden will like you and want to build with you. Because that's what you're trying to ask me, Rachel, a guy who literally is... I just can't believe that you would ask this. A guy who's literally in a relationship with someone else still, and has been for 7 years, is emotionally unavailable to you. Yeah, he's in a relationship with someone else and has been for 7 years. Of course, he's going to be emotionally unavailable to you. And you shouldn't expect anything less, nor should you waste your time thinking of a strategy to get him to approach you differently. Okay? I hate to go so hard on you, but like I said, you asked it in premium relationship advice, so I'm going to go very honest and very brutal honest with you and give you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And what you need to hear is that you're wasting your time trying to get this man attached to you when he's only ever going to be attached to his 7-year girlfriend. 7 years. Never forget that. He's closing in on a decade with one person. You have no chance, Rachel. Zero chance to beat out that girl unless they actually end the relationship. No chance. Okay. Let's move on to the next one because I don't want to get too mad about that one. Next we have here A. A says, thank you for your help. Here is my situation. A says, first off, I wanted to thank you for all that you do. You are the only person I trust with advice on guys. I thank you for your honesty. I thank you as well. I now also use your advice when my girlfriends need it, and it helps them a lot as well. I'm so glad. Anyways, here's my situation. I am 21 years old and he is 23. Last year, I was too busy with work and studying and exercising, etc. So when a man asked me out, I would say no. Nothing wrong with that. Anyways, I have an ex who we broke up 3 years ago after he moved to the United States to be next to me. We remained friends, completely platonic, no bad blood. He introduced me to his mutual friends. Oh no. One of his friends, let's call him Trey, was always nice to me. Oh no. Once they asked me why I didn't date anyone here, I said my type was Arabs. Because Arabs are my type, they're so respectful. But anyways, my ex and Trey and my ex's whole friend group were all Arabs. Oh no. And Trey looked at me with this huge grin and was happy that I said that. Oh no. I also, by coincidence, saw Trey once at the gym and he was sweet and made me a protein shake. Oh no. He also made sure to talk about how his mom is a Christian and how he goes to church. I thought nothing of it, but looking back at it might be because me and my ex fell through because of our different religions. So maybe he was trying to show me that we would work because he was a Christian, or maybe it was a coincidence. It was not. Okay. 1 year later, Trey's ex, who Trey broke up with 2 years ago, started dating my ex. Oh. Okay. This did not go where I thought it was gonna. Let me take a sip from the mug here. What? Okay. What type of friend group you have in here? This is what I don't like about these type of friend groups. It makes me mad. This ain't no real friend group. Okay. I don't know why you guys. It's like a Gen Z thing. I'm Gen Z, but I guess it's like a Gen Z thing where your friend group is like you guys all date each other. Oh God, this is already going bad. So his ex is dating your ex now. I saw a group of my ex's friends at a party, except Trey. This is so messy. My ex's other friends asked if I'm still friends with how many exes? So many exes, so little time. I said I have nothing against him, but he blocked me. They said my ex had a crush on me. What? But he blocked me because he is dating Trey's ex to marry her and get an American passport. What the Nah, the twists and turns. It just okay. You need to separate yourself from this friend group. Let's go on. They said they weren't friends with Trey anymore because of the situation, and said Trey had a bad reputation. Reputation? Why? Why did he have a bad one? Reputation. When I told them, Trey told me the same thing about them. They changed the subject, so I don't know, nor do I care who really has the bad reputation. Anyways, right before that party, Trey followed me, so I followed back. He then DM'd me on Instagram, catching up and asking why he hasn't seen me in so long. Sounds like a bit of a revenge plot. And I said probs because my ex has a new girlfriend. I didn't know anything about her back then, nor did I know she was Trey's ex, etc., because the DM was before the party. And then Trey told me that my ex always told him not to talk to me and said, yeah, probs because he liked me a little bit. Trey said, I don't blame him. Look at you. You are beautiful. The reason I'm pausing, chat, just so you know where my mind is at, is it's making me feel more like this was the revenge plot. Not even a revenge plot against his ex, but a revenge plot of you're gonna date my ex. Are you freaking stupid? I'm gonna smash the shoes off of your girl. It's like a man ego thing. So it's sounding a little bit to me more like you're a pawn here, A, than you are the apple of his eye. But let's go on. I could be wrong. I said, thanks, you're so sweet. He then told me he is no longer friends with my ex and that my ex and my ex's other friends have a really bad reputation now. I said I didn't know that and I understand his decision. He then asked for my Snapchat, moving very quickly. Okay, so I'm just putting you in the mind frame of a guy, guys. It sounds to me like this is a man ego thing. You think you're going to get the one up on me and sleep with my ex and start dating my ex? You sadly mistaken. I'm going to do the same thing back to you, and I'm going to show you that you're just as vulnerable to the same thing. It's a man ego thing. I've been there before, so that's why I know probably what he's trying to do. On Snapchat, he asked me out on a gym and dinner date. It's very funny. He's showing you the most amount of attention after finding out that Trey is dating his ex. It's quite interesting. I was hesitant because I wanted to respect my ex, but then I remembered my ex blocked me and probably moved on. So I said, okay, without the gym part. He agreed. At this time, I was really busy with school, work, gym, etc. The party I went to, was a once in a month thing. In addition, my best friend, who also would hang out with the group, told me Trey followed her as well. She didn't even recognize him and didn't follow back. In addition, Trey's business had been going well and he bought a really expensive sports car he would post all the time, and he would endlessly brag on his Snapchat stories, which threw me off. The following my bestie plus the bragging plus the me being busy equals I canceled on him. I told him, sorry, I'm busy with schoolwork. I can't go with you. I then unfollowed and removed him from my following. He then confronted me and asked why I removed him and asked what rumors I heard about him. And he said we could still be friends. I didn't want to tell him his bragging turned me off. So I said I didn't hear any rumors. I just removed him off Instagram out of respect. He said he understood the schoolwork thing and he struggled with it before he dropped out of college. And I said, I'm glad he understood. I continued to get turned off with his bragging stories on Snapchat. And after 3 months of seeing the bragging and realizing he never texted me again, and there was no reason I have to see all that, I unadded him. Anyways, 3 months later, it was summer. All my friends had Tinder and was going out on dates, so I downloaded Tinder too. Nice. I know, huge mistake. I matched with Trey, who adds me on Snapchat again and asked me out again for dinner, golf, movies, etc. I also have to ask you a question. If you unadded him because you were turned off by him, why would you swipe right on him on Tinder again? I said, let's just go for a coffee because I was still a bit turned off from him and I like more humble men. So he asked you out for dinner and you said, no, let's just do coffee. So you downgraded the date for yourself. Okay. We went and I liked him a lot. He was an amazing person, so much different from what he posts. He was so sweet and would always do everything for me, open the car door, grab the coffee and waffles, feed me the waffles. Chat, does this not sound a little bit suspicious? I'm not saying that people can't be nice to you, can't be caring for you or anything like that, but interesting. Interesting. He just started meeting you and he's feeding you waffles. Interesting. He didn't even let me close the car door behind me. He joked and said he wouldn't teach me how to open the car door because he was a gentleman and wanted to do it for me always. It was complicated because he had a complicated sports car. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't a normal handle. So maybe he had like the scissor doors. What does he have? Like a McLaren or something? It could be crazy. He was so sweet and talked about nice things on the date. No drama at all. Anyways, I ended the date short in an hour or two. When I was home, I was in shock of how much I liked him. After that, each week he planned a date for when I was free. Second date was dinner and golf. He drove me to the airport to see where the private jets he flew land. So we're not even talking about like he just got a little bit of money, like he's balling for real. Okay. I just like to make that clear because the difference between having a little bit of money and like being balling for real. So it probably was a McLaren or a Lamborghini that he was driving with the scissor doors because they go up and the way you open the door is a little bit different. Okay. He was a pilot as well as a business owner. So he showed me where each plane landed. Oh, okay. So that's why he was showing you the private jets. Okay. I get it now. Not that he has a private jet. That's a little bit different, but still a lot of money. Date was around 4 hours. Third date was ice cream, dinner, and a movie around 5 hours, including the movie and the time it took to reach each place in the car. He kissed me. He kissed me for our first kiss before dropping me off. Fourth date was beach, lunch, dinner, jet ski, boat for around 8 hours. I hadn't been watching you back then, so I didn't know that was too long. It honestly, it is for the first it's too long for a date. I just think that build that up. I just think 8 hours is too long. Like until you start getting deep into like knowing each other for like months and months and months, I just don't think it's necessary to jump off on the 8 hour dates. Okay. Anyways, he was so thoughtful and sweet. He brushed my hair. I hate to sound like such a morbid person, but this type of stuff always makes me feel itchy and nervous because it's just like, it's so intense. Right? I don't want you to ever open the car door ever in your life. I'm not even going to teach you how to open it. I want to open it for you every single day of your life. Like, come on. He like brushed my hair, braided it. His sisters made him braid hair and yelled when he got it wrong. He fed me ice cream. So he's feeding you waffles, feeding you ice cream. He doesn't want you to open any single car door ever. I mean, call me a pessimist, but like this type of stuff makes me nervous because it's just unnatural. Okay. It sounds more like a fairy tale than it does like someone who's actually building their feelings for someone. Okay. Which, one hand and driving with the other. Wait, he fed you ice cream with one hand and he drove the car with the other. Even at one point, holding what? Oh, sorry. At one point he was holding my hand while I was half asleep on a call with the other hand while still driving. What? What? I freaked out and put his hand back on the wheel. He said not to worry. He was driving with his leg. But anyways, I fed him the other ice cream the rest of the way. He also got me an extra towel because I'm a bit forgetful. He was right because I did forget a towel and got us matching hoodies. Chat, this doesn't make you a little like just a little bit suspicious? Like we're on date number 4. He's got matching hoodies. He's feeding her waffles and ice cream. He's telling her, look, you don't need to open a single car door for the rest of your life. I'm not even going to teach you how to open it. We had like 4 kisses. He was being too risky on the jet ski, turning around and stuff, and I was scared, so I said it would be the last date he takes me on if he didn't stop, jokingly. Then we fell in the water when he went up. I think like a leech was on my toe, and he freaked out and tried to take it out as quick as possible. He always pays for everything without me knowing. I never even seen the check in restaurants. After that, I was moving to my home country for 2 months. He tried to see me one last time before I left, but I was too busy packing. He always calls me wife, princess, etc. When I was there, he texted me. There was an 8-hour time difference and bad internet, so I'd reply days later. He said he wanted to make me his wife, and he doesn't care if my parents won't let us. And said we'd be like Romeo and Juliet. Doesn't this sound exactly like the description I give you guys of when guys are laying it on too thick? He literally said to her, we'll be like Romeo and Juliet. And that he wanted me to be his wife as a birthday present, which was a few days after I'd come back to the US. which I said, haha, I'll let you know my decision on your birthday. I checked to see if he was still active on Tinder. He was, so I turned my activity status so he'd see I wasn't talking. Wait, what? I wasn't taking what he was saying to me seriously. So you turned on your activity status on Tinder because you saw his on activity status on Tinder. He said he was counting the days till I'm back. I asked how many days. He said, how many days, and he got it right. He was so specific too, aka, I know you're testing me, princess. 24 days counting today or 23 days not counting today. I said, great answer. But I was so okay, this is okay. But I was so happy on the inside. Anyways, after around 40 days of me being in my home country, he texted me a snap. Good afternoon, princess. I sent a snap a day or two later. Hi, Trey. He leaves me on open. I checked. His Tinder profile is gone. Okay, nice. Let's see where things go now. I then deleted mine because I wasn't interested in anyone else. For 20 days, he doesn't text me. 20 days. 20 days after feeding you ice cream and waffles and calling you princess and buying you matching hoodies, he doesn't message you for 20 days. He doesn't text me, so I think, what if he got a girlfriend and used a tool and saw, oops, I missed my place. Got a girlfriend and used tool and saw the follow on Instagram, red flag I saw at the beginning reappear. I don't know what you meant by that. He was consistently each week following new girls that lived where he lived. Some followed him back, some didn't. One particular that bothered me was a girl he liked each and every one of her pics 3 years ago. He barely ever likes girls' pics, so he basically followed and unfollowed, then followed again, and she didn't follow him back. I don't want to seem conceited or anything, but each girl he followed, including the one that bothered me, weren't very pretty. They just posted bikinis and etc. So I thought to myself, is he looking to mess around with me as many girls as he can? One thing I noted was that his snap score would increase by 100, except the 5 days before I arrive, it would barely increase by anything. The day I arrive, he snaps me about how excited he is to see me and how he's been missing me. I felt uneasy after seeing all the girls on Instagram and realizing the 100 snap score increase each day previously was him snapping other girls, but I decided to give it a chance. I said, yeah, I haven't seen you in so long. Okay. And I like the message of him saying he misses me. He then says we should hang out on Monday when he is back in town, and I said I love to, but I already have plans. So he asked me when his princess was free, and I said Wednesday. So he said, perfect, let's plan for Thursday because then it's my birthday, so you will be the perfect birthday gift. So I said, happy birthday, see you on Thursday. He then says he was thinking we could go to a nearby US state. It's a 3.5 hour drive. And I said that sounds nice, but wouldn't that be taking too long? I had known about you here, and I knew 7 hours of driving was already too long. So yeah, I listened to your advice. He said, I was thinking we could get up early and we could stay a day or two if I was able to get away from my parents. I thought, what if he was trying to have pineapples? That's why he wants a long stay. I took your advice and said, I like how things are going, but I'm not comfortable staying more than a few hours. I like to get to know you better first. He said, that's perfectly fine. 100% get that. I'll tell you the plan in where we live. Then here soon. But what's up? So then I reply a day later and said, sounds great. Just going out with my girls. What about you? And he said how he's driving back to where it's been a long to where we live, and it's been a long day. He asked what I was doing with my girlfriends, and I said the whole day was planned out. He asked, "Ooh, what are you guys doing?" Here I left him on open. Wow, so this is on Snapchat, all of this. And because you said not to chit chat. Anyways, his birthday was on Thursday. Today is Saturday and still no text. Did he get offended? Okay, I might have to do a part 2 of this because this is too long for me to to go the entire thing with. Okay, you guys gotta cut this down a little bit shorter. Let me see where I ended off here. Let's see. I never checked me in restaurants. Plan for anything. Let's see. Much girls as he can. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my place. Or did he get offended? Okay, so I'll read this last part and then we'll save the rest for part 2. Did he get offended? I left him on open. Was he just upset he couldn't have pineapples with me? Should I text him or should I leave it be? Is the following thing a red flag? I like him a lot, but you can change if you tell me. But you can change that if you tell me his intentions are bad. I only like genuine men. It's easy for me to get over mean ones. Yesterday, I stalked him from a fake account on Instagram. We don't follow each other, and he posted on his IG story, typed out God first, and a quote that says, God, stop overthinking, pray, and give it to me. So I don't know if he was overthinking about the opened, like Snapchat, but then he posted some rich boy-ish as he always does. Anyways, I left him on open because you said the phone is for scheduling only. I agree with you, and also because he usually schedules immediately instead of chatting. I don't know, I'm a bit hurt. I really do care about him a lot, and I wish I could show him that, but I know it would drive him further away. So I never text him until he texts me, or should I text him, or it's over, and should I move on? Was I being too mean? Okay, I'm going to pause it here. Not because I don't like you or I don't want to answer your message, but as the chat can see here, this is going to go on for quite a while. So, and I want to not have this show be so long. So I'm going to continue your message tomorrow. I know we didn't get a chance to hop into the free section today, unfortunately, but I'm going to continue your message tomorrow, But what I will say so far is I think from my own personal experience, you're in a position where this guy probably started dating you or trying to be with you because his close guy friend started dating his ex. So he felt it necessary to like really pour this on heavy by pursuing you super, super duper heavy. Okay. And because he wanted to pour this on heavy and pursue you super duper heavy, he poured it on super thick at the very beginning. And this is why he kind of did all of that stuff with you. You understand what I'm saying? And why he kind of was going really over the top. I think that the 20 days was a really clear sign that if he can be pouring it on that thick at the very beginning, then it probably is because he doesn't really truly care that much. Because how can you care that much and then randomly 20 days in a row, he doesn't message you and doesn't speak to you? Doesn't make a lot of logical sense. So I say that to say, I think you're suffering from a situation where because you want this guy to like you, you neglected to realize that he probably did it because he was angry at his boy for now being with his ex-girlfriend. So he wants to kind of like build a relationship out of you. Not necessarily, I'm not saying that he doesn't like you at all, but mostly because out of spite for his boy dating his ex-girlfriend. You understand what I'm saying? So and some of you were like, yo, this is really, really long. So what I'll do for you, is on my own time, I'll respond to you in your message here, and I'll send you a voice note in the bottom of your message. That way I read it all through and you get a full answer, and you feel like you got your, because you did donate to the show, so I want to be fair to you and read your entire message and give you a full answer with full context. But also, guys, for the future, keep in mind, keep it under the character count. Like, try and keep it one, like, you get the first set of things and try to keep it like not too much more than that. Cause like this is like the longest thing we've ever, this is like a book here. So I appreciate you writing it down in detail, and I'll answer it after the show on my own time. I'll put you in a voice note there as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. That it will be the show today. I know we went over and I know we didn't get a chance to hop into the free relationship advice section, but don't worry, we got lots of days to do that. Someone says that donation needs to be $1,000. I think it was just $10. Okay. So keep that in mind. Maybe I'll put in a section for you guys to send in private messages as well. Okay. Kay said, wait, you didn't read my premium donation message I donated? It's okay. I'll be able to see it, and I'll be back here tomorrow. I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and all the VIP people will get their questions read out. It's just not always necessarily going to be the same show that you donate. It's the same show that I read it out. You understand? But it will usually be by at least the next time I'm on live. Okay? Me also sends $10. You guys are so generous today. Me also says $10 in the YouTube chat. She just sends a super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. All right. Someone said go one more premium, please. We're already like 40 minutes over our regular time. Okay. And some people have been here since the very beginning. Don't worry. I'm here tomorrow, guys. Less is more. So for those of you who want to follow me on Instagram and you want to see everything that I'm doing all day, every single times of the day, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's right there above my head, and it's right on the bottom right of the screen there as well for those of you on YouTube as well. And for those of you who want to figure out how you can skip the line and send your question because you're like, damn, I don't like waiting to get my question answered. I want to skip the line. Very easy. All you got to do is go into the link in my bio if you're on TikTok, or the link in the description if you're on YouTube. You'll find where it says premium relationship advice section when you click that link, and then you donate to the show. Very important. You got to put in your username and the title of your message, and then I read out your message live on the show, and you get to skip the line of the hundreds of other people that I got to do. And maybe I'm going to put in a premium private section where you guys can send in your question, and then I also answer it personally to you. I'll figure out how I'm going to do that, but I'll definitely think about doing that as well, because I know some of you guys have questions that you don't want to necessarily be just on the Discord as well. All right, so I'm going to be working on that for you guys as well. All right, guys, until we meet again, it'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Goodbye for now. Arrivederci. Hasta la vista. Adios. What's another good one? Goodbye, I guess. I said goodbye already. Bon voyage, and I will see you again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. Bye for now. Bye for now.